First up, mayor announcements. I want to announce that November 21st and 22nd are Art Walk. December 5th and 6th is Mountain Country Christmas. December 13th is the City of Alpine Christmas Parade. I also want to thank the volunteer fire department for all that they do, for everything. We are very grateful. There was a fire this past Friday evening, and we appreciate that. They also received mutual aid from Marathon Volunteer Fire Department, and I would like to thank them for that. And I want to thank individuals who applied for the board positions. The City of Alpine put on their website a call for board applications, especially for the Parks Department. And we have had several applicants because of that. The board will be completely filled. We're just waiting on 2 members to receive sponsors from council, and then the board will be completely filled. I'll talk more about boards in my executive report at the end of the meeting. Also, thank you to the water department. These guys, they've had a lot of leaks, a lot of sewer backups, a lot. They were out until after 5 a.m. working on leaks to make sure that people had water that they needed. Also, early voting has started. Please go out and vote. We need Proposition 4 approved, which would allow $1 billion a year to help Texas avoid a water crisis, and it will help a community such as ours. We really need that funding. We need you to go out and vote. Voting is at the Val Beard. I know there were some questions about that. All right, city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. I have one item tonight. Historic Alpine, in partnership with Alpine Community Projects, will host a brick restoration workshop on November 8th, 2025 at the city-owned Old Schoolhouse. The workshop will provide attendees with training on preservation-friendly brick care techniques, and it include a discussion on potential restoration options for the Old Schoolhouse. In addition to that, Historic Alpine did release a save the date for its upcoming holiday events, and a full listing of these events is available in a news article posted on the city's website.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Stevens.
Thanks, Mayor. I just want to echo your comments about the water department. Lots of folks do great things, but I was particularly impressed with Mike and his team last night. They had not 1 but 2 water breaks. They started yesterday, he deployed his first team, and they thought they were going to bed. They thought they were done. Then water break number 2 hit 5 minutes later, shut down Country Club Estates again, and he deployed the second team. So, Mike, well done to you and your team, and for the great strategy to make that happen yesterday. So thank you.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Escobedo.
I just wanted to say that, of course, thank you to y'all. You're doing a great job. We also had the turn in unneeded and expired medications for safety disposal at True Value on Saturday, October 25th from 10 to 2.
Ooh, nice.
And Alpine PD is working with them.
Thank you, Daryl.
Thank you, Darren.
Councilmember Lucas. Councilmember Martinez.
Nothing.
Councilmember Portillo.
Just let everybody know, Alpine ISD got homecoming festivities this week, parade. Tomorrow, 6 o'clock, coming down the Ross, I believe, and going towards, going over to the,
It'll be Avenue to Cherry Street.
yes,
Oh, okay,
just wanted to let everybody know.
great, thank you. All right, moving on to changes to posted agenda. Council, are there any items to be continued or withdrawn? Council, are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda for separate discussion? Council, are there any action items to be added to the consent agenda? For time-sensitive items, I'm going to move discussion G to the front of information and discussion items for productivity and efficiency for the meeting. And part of that will also be held in executive under Texas Code 551.071 and 551.074. Consult with an attorney and personnel matters. Okay, there were no time-sensitive items. Consent agenda, City Secretary.
Thank you, Mayor. The consent agenda consists of A, approval of the October 7th, 2025 water workshop and regular meeting minutes. B, approval of the September 2025 Office of the City Secretary report. C, approval of the fourth quarter fiscal year 2025 Office of the City Secretary report. B, approval of fiscal year 2024 and 2025 third and fourth quarter investment report. And E, approval of the September 2025 invoice for Bojorquez Law Firm Services.
Okay, I need a motion.
We approve the consent agenda as presented.
I need a second.
I'll second.
Let's vote.
Aye.
Aye.
City Secretary Council voted unanimously to approve the consent agenda as written. Okay, there were no items removed from the consent agenda. Reports and presentations, we have two. The first one sponsored by the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Reports and presentations, maybe is Alpine Volunteer Fire Department update, Chief James Atchison and James Atchison.
Great. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you for all of your support, man. Couldn't have done without any of the support from the city. And totally appreciate it. I'm gonna bleed a little bit into October, just because October's been a lot busier than the entire month of September. September, we didn't have much of anything. Except for some controlled burns going on the outside, on the outskirts of the city, nothing internally. Within the last 3 days, we've had 3 fires. So I just want to remind the citizens of Alpine that we're getting into the colder weather months. So let's check our heaters, let's check our electricity and all that stuff before we start getting into the part of the season where stuff hasn't been running in a while. It's starting to get run. So let's make sure we check everything and make sure it's safe. That way we can prevent something from happening like it has in the last 3 days. So with that said, we did have a fire downtown. It was the fire right next to Vance's Automotive and Bull Shirts, where Bull Shirts used to be. We were able to contain the fire to just that one little area in the strip mall. We were able to bookmark it and keep everything contained to that one area, so it's kept it from spreading all throughout the entire thing. The other cool thing about it was we hooked up to 3 different fire hydrants. All 3 fire hydrants worked beautifully. So it was quite relief from all of us. Another cool thing is putting the fire out, we only used about 3,000 gallons of water, which sounds like a lot, but when doing a fire, it's not that much. So we're able to put it out not only with limited water, because we wanted to make sure, we wanted to see if we could do it. And we had the perfect opportunity to do it, so we did it. And we used a lot of manpower to go in there and dig through and get the big parts out and stamp it out with the tools that we had. And all the tools that we've been able to get with the recent funding we've had, so being able to use these tools and get them to work was amazing. It made our job 110% better. We did do some training with Jupiter. Jupiter is, if nobody's familiar with Jupiter, Jupiter is the company that owns the batteries supply spot right next to the solar farm.
Yep.
And so we did training with them. The training consists of, if it's on fire, don't go in. Not a problem. We can do that. So that was our main focus. We recently had a individual, myself, get completely certified for firefighter qualifications. So now we can locally do skills exams here in Alpine.
Yes.
We don't have to go outside. We don't have to go to College Station or anything like that. We can actually do the certifications here.
That's big.
That's huge. So we're slowly turning this into a training facility for the tri-counties. Let's see, we got 3 new probationary firefighters onto the roster, so we're up to about 29 firefighters now, and we're not going to stop. We're hoping more people come in. We did get a grant for $300,000 for a new water truck. We're in the current process of looking for a loan to get the $300,000 to pay for the truck, and then once we get the reimbursement back, we can pay the loan back. But it's going to be a brand new water truck. Our only concern is where we're going to put it. I mean, we have a lot of trucks, and it's a good problem to have.
Yes, it is.
So we'll take that any day. There's other stuff. I think there's on the agenda. We're going to talk about the burn house a little bit.
Yes.
Okay, I'll save those for that discussion, but there's some stuff going on with the burn house. And oh, our new Humvee. So Ray, the place that burned down, is the place that's doing our Humvee. My first question was, is our Humvee in the garage?
Yeah.
Thankfully, it wasn't. It's getting some fabrication work done to it, or a roof and a back panel. But we are getting, our new Humvee up and running. It's gonna be called Brush 3. That way, because it's big, bad, and it can go anywhere we want it to. So that's coming along with a new slip-on unit. So it's gonna be a brand new unit coming around. And that should be hopefully within the next month or two. We had a
Good.
slight step back with the fire, but we're still moving forward with it.
Great, all good news.
Yeah.
Councilmember Portillo,
No, thank y'all for everything they'll do.
Councilmember Martinez,
Thank you, Mayor. No, I don't have questions. Thank you. You're doing an excellent job. We appreciate your job.
Councilmember Lucas. Councilmember Escobedo,
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Councilmember Stevens.
And, yeah, great job. A question, do you have a plan for the loan so you can get that? Or what's your strategy?
So we're gonna discuss it at our next board meeting.
Okay.
And see about options that we can do to obtain a loan or do something like that. I know. There's a lot of options. We can get half from the county and try to come up with the other half, or come and beg you guys for the other half. But I'm trying to get away from that. I wanna see if we can possibly, get the loan and be kind of self-efficient. We'll come beg you guys for funds for something else, but that's.
Well, the reason I raise it, you might want to talk to Victoria and Jill about the capital fund that we've been using from a city standpoint. We've talked to as a way to go get that worked. I'm just trying to think mechanisms for when they got the brain power behind it.
Yeah, that was the other question I had about that was, how does that work? I mean,
Yeah.
it's there, but how do we use it?
Yeah, they got the brain power.
Cool.
That's it. Thank
All
you.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for all you do.
Here, because the next one's for us.
The next one's for you. Okay, so the next discussion or report and presentation is also sponsored by the city manager. Gio.
Thank you, Mayor. Item B is Emergency Services Board update, and I believe James would be giving it as well.
Yes,
Or somebody else.
Carl Spencer,
Okay.
the Secretary of the Emergency Services Board.
Oh, great. Come on up.
This is where she tells you how bad I'm doing.
No, no, no. Thank you for your service.
I know Rusty Moore's name is on the agenda. Rusty's in travel status today and travel has been delayed for him. So he won't be able to make it tonight. My name is Carla Spencer. I am the secretary for the Emergency Services Board. And, we, just for a little history, clarification, transparency for anybody that doesn't know, the board was created in 2023 as a financial oversight body for the volunteer fire department. We just wanted to be able to have some accountability there, answer back to you guys and to the county for what was going on within the fire department financially. 2024 was our first full year of accounting. And things are coming together. We are kind of finding our feet. 2025, we've spent primarily refining that process and trying to tighten things up and make things crystal clear. So our financial statements are closer to tying in with James's budget. And so those things should be more clear for, at a glance type accounting. We do have board members that may or may not be kind of looking at replacing some of those maybe in 2026. So just kind of looking at those. I know that the city and the county both have appointments to that board, to those seats. So just making sure that everybody knows kind of what our timelines are. December is going to be our annual meeting. We'll be electing officers and kind of going through that board structure process in December. Everything is looking good. Finances are amazing. I just kind of wanted to report. I know that we kind of came to you guys and asked for a little extra funding for 2026. And the question out there might be why? Why do y'all need us to give another $10,000? The city has been providing $50,000 for the volunteer fire department, as has the county. And this year we asked each entity for 60. Or for 2026, we asked for 60. For 2025, James's operating budget from the city and the county was $100,000. But him and his team also brought in $1 million with grants. So the return on your money, the return on the city of Alpine's investment in their volunteer fire department is over $1 million. And that comes to you guys in better trained firefighters, better equipment, all kinds of new vehicles or upgrades to the existing vehicles. So, I mean, it's been an amazing process to watch it work. But I do want you guys to realize that it's not just the 100,000 or the 120,000 that's making this deal, that's keeping this deal running. It's a big thing that's happening out there. James and his guys have been doing a great job. And I don't know if y'all have any questions. That's all I can come up with right off the top of my head here.
Okay, great. That's great news. You guys work exceptionally hard to bring in over $1 million in grants. You know, the citizens of Alpine deserve nothing less than the best of everything, including the fire department, well-trained, keeps your guys safe, keeps the community safe. Very grateful. And Councilmember Stevens,
Anything else? Thanks very much.
Councilmember Escobedo.
Y'all are doing great. I mean, I think it's at its best right now and it's only gonna get better. Thank you.
Oh, geez.
No, it's will be, it's good. Councilmember Lucas.
I want to thank the board for all of y'all's support for the fire department. I don't want it to just be us in the county, but all of the work that y'all do for us as well. It's very appreciated. Thank you.
Well noted. Yes, thank you. Councilmember Martinez.
Thank you, Mayor. Just thank you for the outstanding job you are doing. Thank you.
Councilmember Portillo.
Thank y'all, very informative. And keep it up. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. We are so proud of the board and of our fire department. Thank you. Okay, that concludes reports and presentations. We're rocking right along here, moving into information and discussion items. Discussion item G, discussion regarding the leak detection study report and plans to improve the city pool ahead of the upcoming season. Speaking of citizens deserving nothing but the best, this is one of those things, nothing but the best. This item is also going to be partially held in executive session, as mentioned previously, under Texas Government Code 551.074 Personnel Matters and 551.071 Consultation with an Attorney. About 2 weeks ago, I asked that David and Eddie both be present. Thank you for being here for the discussion in case council has any questions for you or in case our city manager wants to provide them with direction. Please remain during executive session if you are able, because we may have additional questions for you at that time. So as we mentioned, our residents, everybody here in Alpine deserves a pool that is well maintained and fixed correctly at the lowest possible cost. Taxpayer money, your money, our money, all of the citizens' money. The pool is so important to this community. I hear it all the time. It's one of the major things that we have here for the kids to do. It is so important. Our Parks Department, like many of our departments, is spread thin, at no fault of their own. And we're working as a council to try to get you guys, all of the departments, properly staffed. None of the Parks Department employees have ever built, rebuilt, refurbished, or repaired a pool, and it's not any fault of their own. They do a fabulous job with the training and the knowledge that they have.
Mayor, if I may.
Look. Thank you. Okay, I know that members of the public and probably most on council are tired of patchwork repairs and ready for things to be done correctly the first time and want us to be good stewards of our tax dollars. And as we all know, there are limited resources and expertise in our area. As such, the Parks Department requested that West Texas Pool Repair, Donnie Greenway, an Alpine, Texas business, an expert with 35 years of experience in pool building, repair, electrical maintenance, meet with the Parks Department for advice and direction on a possible pump problem. Called and spoke to Eddie and they met. He has the certified pool builder certification, certified pool operator certification, and is an instructor in certified pool operation. He's completed that rigorous educational path, completed the test, and has received national recognition with those licenses. He also has a TICL license and has taught the CPO class. He was president of IPSA, which is the Independent Pool and Spa Service Association. There are times in every department when a city is going to need expert advice and direction. And it will need it in the matters of the pool. So Gio, if you'd please just give us a brief summary of what has occurred since the pool company was called out for possible pump repairs.
Okay, absolutely. So the city did engage West Texas Pool Repair, a local pool repair company, when we began experiencing issues with the swimming pool pump. At that time, we'd already faced closures, and initially we believed a new pump would be required. In June, the company provided a free consultation and met with our Director of Public Works, the park foreman, and a parks employee at the pool. And during this visit, they determined that the issue was not the pump itself, but rather the pump was tripping the breaker after about 20 minutes of operation. Their diagnostics, including an amperage test, confirmed that the motor was functioning properly, and thanks to this, we were able to reopen the pool the very next day. During their review, West Texas Pool Repair also identified other concerns and recommended that the city obtain a formal safety inspection. And it is important to note that in July 2025, the company's owner, Donnie Greenway, was appointed to the Parks and Recreation Board. Because West Texas Pool Repair is the only company or local company that provides formal pool inspections, and because hiring an outside company would have meant additional travel costs, the city selected them for the inspection. Mr. Greenway also completed the required conflict of interest disclosures in light of his board membership. The resulting inspection report is included in your council package tonight. As part of their inspection, West Texas Pool Repair advised that a separate vendor would need to be brought in order to perform a leak detection study, since significant leakage is evident and they do not provide that service. At the city's request, they vetted 6 potential companies and provided us a list. Public Works ultimately selected Leak Detection Pro out of Pato, Texas, the only vendor available to travel to Alpine. The cost of this work was approximately $6,000. West Texas Pool Repair helped coordinate the appointment and intended to be on site to monitor the study and advise the city on potential repairs. However, because city staff rescheduled the inspection, the company was not present during the visit. The leak detection report found major structural issues with the pool's concrete and confirmed that the problem could not be addressed in-house. The vendor further advised that patching with epoxy would not be effective and that the city would need to hire a professional pool repair company for a long-term solution. Neither Leak Detection Pro nor West Texas Pool Repair has the capability to perform these structural repairs. On August 6, 2025, Public Works initially informed me that the issue could not be resolved or could be resolved with an epoxy patch. However, following further clarification, the director advised this was just miscommunication and that we do in fact need to proceed with specialized repair services. So that's kind of a rundown of where we, how we got here, where we're at now.
Okay, right. So when you reported at our last council meeting that it could be done in-house, that was just miscommunication.
Yes.
Okay, and is all the paperwork, just in case of any improprieties, appearance of improprieties, is all of Mr. Greenway's paperwork in order for him to be sitting on the Parks Board?
Yes, he filled out both the CIS and CIQ, which is required by the Texas Ethics.
Okay, and how much money has Mr. Greenway made from the city of Alpine?
$325. He did the initial consultation for free and the subsequent inspection. The safety inspection cost us $325.
Okay. All right. So council, before you come up, Betty, do you have any questions? Councilmember Portillo.
No, I mean, other than, we gotta realize how lucky we are to have somebody like him here, in my opinion. I mean, cause there are no pool experts anywhere really in this area or near this area. And like they were talking about, 6 companies were called upon, only one was willing to travel down to Alpine, Texas. And that's the problem that we have with a lot of stuff going on down here because of where we live and things like that. So, in my opinion, having someone with Mr. Greenway's expertise, in my opinion, is a big, big asset here in our community.
Councilmember Martinez.
Thank you, Mayor. I think that we are very grateful that he's here and we should take his qualifications to help us to repair because kids that are waiting for summer all the time for the swimming pool and they were kind of disappointed that we closed earlier this year, but they didn't know that we barely make it. That we were grateful that it was open. We should take advantage that he has all the qualifications.
Councilmember Lucas?
I have nothing right now, so I would speak with it.
Okay. Councilmember Escobedo?
We do need a person that knows what they're doing. I have no doubt about that. The public does need the swimming pool opened even more days and months if it was possible, of course not, but. My only question was. Him being on the board. You know, I mean, if he wants to. To do the repairs or whatever, I'm for that. I don't have an issue with that.
Councilmember Stevens?
I got nothing really to add. It's great we got someone locally who can work it all, and I'm now interested to figure out, as you recall, last city council meeting, so what's the plan? So
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to move forward. I'm glad we got this far. Now we know, we got, the report said 13 structural cracks. And that is certainly bothersome. So I'm glad we got this far, and I'm glad we got some local work on it. Now we're gonna go forward.
Yeah.
Thanks.
okay. And Eddie, you can come up, just state your name and what department you're with into the microphone.
So. We made just a little update just to let you know where we're at with the swimming pool at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you, Eddie.
visiting.
Here you go.
Oh, wait, I have two. We have two.
Oh, center right. Student body right.
Anybody else?
We're
I
good.
think we all
Eddie?
have one.
Oh, we're good.
We're good.
Maybe the city manager needs one. You got one?
So in our pool update here, we're just gonna go over, like I said, some things that where we're at with the pool. All repairs are implemented and comes upon physical year budgets. We have in our line item for the swimming pool, we have 15,000. We were approved 14,000 for the pump repair and the motor. So in total, we have like 29,000. Issue one, so we have, if you want to look in the back of your paper. Issue one is again, the cracks, so. We're pending on quotes with, Gilbert Pool Service, Landmark Aquatic. We actually got a quote from Landmark Aquatic today. And their quote was for 11,800. But, since they didn't do the actual leak detection, they would, they wouldn't guarantee their work in reference to that, but they said if they would come do their work, and if they, for any reason, found other, more leaks, it would be an additional 6,500. We are waiting some quotes from Gilbert's Pool, like I said, and, that's where we're at with that. Pending funds after leak repair is and quotes, so. Again, for the pump and motor itself, we did get approved for 10,000. The actual pump is $9,000. And that's something that we will need to replace. And then the rest just goes down the list of things that we really, again, need to address, like the junction box wiring, electrical panels. We got quotes from CT Electric, 7M. And then just like the meter flow valve, we're pending quotes and all that. Again, we need to replace the sand on our filters, which we're gonna do that. And then we need to replace the chain link fence and all these that was on Ronnie's report, which again, I wanna also say that we are fortunate to have somebody like that locally, especially that he's locally. I mean, it saved us time and money. He's been more than generous. The first study he went and did, without charging us anything, and anytime, it's nice to, when you have run a problem with a pool, it's nice to just, somebody takes a phone call away. Issue number, that was issue number 2. Issue number 3 is we have to implement improvements 1 through 7, which is in the back. And then again, it'll illustrate what we need to address. For example, the coordinator for the swimming pool, return beats, and have lockers for lobbies for citizens, lifeguard belongings. One of the main things that we really need to address before we can even consider opening next year would be we are under some violations with Texas Health Safety law requirements. And again, it's employee certification, supervising pool coordinators, create policy and procedure logs, staff planning, incident reports, role and responsibilities, community complaint follow-ups, lifeguard training, drills, AED, refresh training. So all those, we really need to be certified before we can even consider doing the pool. And again, like I said, it's self-explanatory. So this is where we're at this point. Again, like I said, since they didn't do the leak survey, if they come in and they give us that code and come in and do that, if they run into more leaks, then it will be additional charge. I think there was a total of 25 leaks on the report.
11 that are major, for sure.
And some of the main leaks that they found are within the walls and you can't actually see them. It's just where the water seeps through the wall. That's why all this time, we do have major cracks on the floor itself, but we would fix that, but we really weren't addressing the major leaks. So that's pretty much it. That's where we are at this point.
Okay, Councilmember Lucas.
I think that's the same, we gotta have the executives.
Okay. All right, Councilmember Stevens.
Thanks, Mayor.
You have a lot, huh? 14 leaks, right?
Yeah, so it says there are 13 structural cracks. That's what the report says. But on what you handed out, Eddie, it says we're losing about 2.4 million gallons of water. Is that like a year?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so 2.4 million gallons, which is,
And that's within the span of 3 months.
I'm sorry,
That's within the span of 3 months.
oh, 3 months.
Yeah,
So that's
so yearly.
kind of like what the mayor quoted in 22,000 gallons
Yes,
Yeah.
a
exactly.
day. So that's a lot of water. And part of what prompted me to raise the question at the last city council meeting, that would imply to me there's a lot more going on underneath the pool that we can't see. Which caused me to question, we really fix the leaks for a relatively small amount of money if we have that number of structural defects. Is your proposal that we really need to kind of get the experts out here, come take a look?
Oh, yeah.
So we get some feedback.
Yeah,
And that's gonna cost-
that's nothing that we
Yeah.
can do in-house.
Okay, yeah, well,
Yeah.
I gather that. So you'd get someone out, then you'd come up with their recommendation. And so I suspect that's probably gonna cost more than you probably have in your budget.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that like Gabriel's Pool Service and they're gonna pretty much come with the same thing that they didn't do the leak detection, so
So
they
you do
can't
it, yeah.
guarantee the work. Like, for example, if these guys that did the leak detection are spot on.
Yeah.
And Landmark comes in and they fix the leaks that they detected, then we're good, but that's no guarantee that, that.
So bottom line, you're in the discovery phase.
Mhm.
We know we have a leak. We know how much we're losing, but we don't know the extent or what the repair is.
Yes.
So I understand you got to press forward to go figure it out. And it sounds like you then have some other things you want to go get fixed so we're compliant with. the
Yeah.
stuff you got listed.
Everything is on the list is so we can be compliant.
Yeah.
If not, we don't meet that list, well, we can't.
Yeah, so I presume you're gonna head down that path. And we're gonna see you in the not too distant future on kind of next steps with here's what it's gonna
I
cost.
mean, our first and foremost is, of course, the leak repair,
Yeah.
and then the rest are pretty, some of them we can do in-house.
Yeah.
And then with the safety laws, and so we can be under
Yeah,
compliance.
good. I think you're heading down the right path, so thank you.
Councilmember Portillo?
Councilman Stevens touched on a lot of it. Yeah, I mean, just gotta move forward, figure out what we need to do.
Councilmember Martinez?
Thank you, Mayor. With all these code violations, oh, I was thinking how they allowed us to open that pool, say there were so many violations, they just give us a fine or there were.
Well,
We didn't know back then
Yeah.
about this.
And we were lucky.
no, but yeah, we actually got
So
lucky.
we're like fortunate, we have Don, that brought it to us and said, hey, if you don't follow these, you're gonna get fined. And I will fall under as well as my CPO license, they'll find the city, of course, but my name's on there. And the thing is, it's like, we didn't know,
Yeah.
and it's quite a bit. And
I
after you
know,
go through
I
it,
know, I was reading, so he said,
Yeah.
wow. But
once
they
you go
allowed
through
us
it,
to
you're
be
like,
open.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, and
And
this
what
was
they-
never brought to anybody's attention, so every year, the pool was filled. We kind of waited, we patched it, we kind of waited till the water saturated, so we were losing like maybe 2 foot of water a day for a period of a week, and then the pool would saturate. But all this time, to answer your question, nobody brought it to anybody's attention.
Yeah.
That, yeah, we could, I mean, if something were to happen with all these violations, man, they don't.
And with your expertise, taking care of the pool so many years, what are you thinking? Do you prefer to bring in somebody from out of town to repair, or would you would like somebody local?
I mean, there's nobody
There's
local.
nobody
We-
local.
Actually,
We can
the
repair.
first person that leak detection, when we asked them like, who do you recommend? They recommended, Ronnie, but at the time he said, he can't. But this time he can't do that, so he went to go ahead and helped us out to find, but yeah, definitely wouldn't be anybody local. It would have to bring somebody in that's what they do, Our expertise.
So the problem is to find somebody who wants to come to our.
I mean, it's not a thing of coming, they will do it. I mean, again, for example, like Landmark, they gave us a quote of 11,800. They can't guarantee it because they didn't do the detection. And furthermore, if they find something more leaks than what was on the report on the study, well, then it would be an additional charge.
So there is no way to build a new one or repair this one, so.
I think the last time they considered doing a fiberglass shell for it, just to drop it in, was something like $1 million.
Ah.
Yes, so that's when they went ahead and decided to do the repair.
The repairs.
Yes, we gutted it out and they repaired all that. Unfortunately, they didn't do nothing with the actual pool, so that's when, we kept having the leaks.
So you go through this every year, or every year you get more problems?
We go through this every year till, we met up with Ronnie and, he helped us out and, kind of pointed out in the right direction. And once we got the leak detection, see, we were aware of the leaks on the floor. We would kind of repair those every year. And we'd lose less and less water, but still, we would still be losing water, so. Yeah, and I think going forward, I mean, as far as for the community there, I mean, even when we close for a day, we have a problem with our pump or whatever. Man, we get calls all day, and I'm pretty sure constituents call
We
like,
do
hey,
too.
what's going on with the swimming pool?
Yeah.
It is that popular, and people do enjoy it, so,
Well, what I see in all this, we're going in the right direction.
yes, we are
So,
now, we have been.
We know
going
that
in the
problem,
right
so we need to
direction.
find the solution.
And like I said, if we're in violation of all these rules, we need to definitely address that, so.
Thank you.
Did you have a comment, Councilmember Portillo?
No, no. ma'am.
Okay, yeah, and it's important that we do get it fixed because David holds the CPO license and that makes him personally also liable
Yeah, she's,
for the pool and the safety. Yes, that's a big deal. Because the state of Texas will hold him
I mean, I'm
personally.
surprised that we didn't have an incident in all these years that we've been shut down for good.
Yeah, that was what I asked.
Yeah, so I would be nervous if I were David. All right, Councilmember Burgess, executive for now.
Yeah, I'll just state that maybe next time we should, now that we know hindsight's 2020, right? We should probably find a whole company that can do the leak detection and the repairs.
Yeah.
So we're not having to like double dip in the funds.
I mean, yeah, this was our first time and yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
We weren't aware that, for example, again, if we would have contacted Landmark, they would have done the detection, then we would have got the warranty. It wouldn't have been such expensive, but hey.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
My only concern is like I understand why they're saying they're not guaranteeing it
Mhm.
because the people that came and did the leak detection in their inspection, they were saying that they recommend a follow-on leak detection as well.
Yeah,
So it's like, shoot,
And
they're
like
not
they
even-
said, if the detection test, if they're spot on and they come and do the repairs, hey, we're good, but there's no guarantee.
Right.
Yeah.
So is there a company that leak detection that works with their warranties other than Donnie? I mean, or,
Well, like Landmark Aquatic, they do their own detections and they back their work. So
yes, but what I'm saying is now that we've already gotten the leak detection with that company, do they have anybody that works side by side with them?
with
that-
them, no, they just do the leak detection.
No, they did email a company a suggestion. Did y'all reach out to that company?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I believe the city manager forwarded it to all of council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Detection
yes,
pros
we're-
recommendation.
We're pending on that one, though. We're actually pending on like three quotes. And then we'll, eventually there'll be different prices, but I think, like I said, everybody's gonna basically say the same thing. We didn't do the detection, so.
Okay, Councilmember Escobedo?
So I know that. Well, things can get kind of expensive, having like the recreational coordinator office portable building. I mean, that's quite a bit of money. I'm sure that. That person was housed somewhere before.
Well, actually, to answer your question is, the coordinator is under Public Works. And the last coordinator we had was my office is at the warehouse. And I shared with my assistant and we would have to share the office with the coordinator and my office is not that big, it's maybe like 12 by 10, but. So that's the reason that we.
And you're
Go ahead.
asking to have the portable building there
Yes, ma'am.
where you're at? Okay.
Yes, so what we did, we have a portable building, we got a quote if we were to do that in-house ourselves. And we got a quote for 8,500, so I figured we're pending on a quote just to go ahead and buy something that's already built, and just move it out there and we don't wanna advertise for a coordinator just yet till we're situated with an office. Because if not, we hire somebody, again, but we're doing so.
Right.
And it's recommended that we do have a coordinator out there at all times. And I think that's one of the problems that we have every year. I mean, we don't have per se authority out there. I mean, the kids, we keep an eye on them, but they do their job to a certain point. We have to keep checking up on them.
And how many people are certified? David, what was your certification?
Yeah, I got that CPO and then,
We have two.
yeah,
And of course, the coordinator would have to be certified.
So this whole time, nobody else was certified until when?
We always have to.
just as.
All right, anything else, council? All right, good. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, moving on to information and discussion item A, Councilmember Escobedo.
To discuss the Parks and Recreation Board and the possibility of dissolving the board. Our reason for bringing this is that I know we are having a very hard time filling this board, but my thoughts are that we really don't need the board if we have Eddie and we have the foreman here that can report to us. You know, if anything is going on, they should know what's going on in our parks with the city pool. And if there's anything that needs to be fixed, they should be able to report to council and to the city manager.
I think having boards is important for transparency and to get citizens involved, not just the six of us sitting up here. And right now, we have the board where it'll be filled. There's just 2 applicants still waiting for sponsorship. I think dissolving a board decreases our transparency as a council, and I highly don't recommend that. I mean, there's other visions. Eddie can't handle everything. You know, people have visions about what they might want to see with tournaments coming and different parks being restructured or redone. I don't know, Councilmember Portillo, this is your board. What are your thoughts?
So I'm all for it. We have to have a board. So I went ahead and looked up on why, the whole reason of having a board, a Parks and Rec board, if you don't mind me, I'm gonna read. So it's an advisory role. The board typically advises city council or county commissions on policies, plans, priorities related to parks and recreation. Might review and recommend park master plans, recreation programs, facility improvements, and land acquisition. Community representation. Members serve as a bridge between the public and local government, representing community interests and feedback on parks and recreation issues. They often gather input from residents to ensure services reflect local needs. Plan and development, the board may help develop long-term goals, park development, trail systems, playgrounds, community centers. They often review designs, concepts for new park projects. They may review proposed budgets for the Parks Department, recommend funding priorities. Some boards also help pursue grants, partnerships. Policy, the board can help establish policy for park use, fees, facility rentals. So honestly, I mean, it's not up to us as a council to handle any of this. You know, that's why we have this board. So everything goes to them. And I get, we've been having trouble. It seems like now we're kind of getting everything on the right path to where we can have a board. It's been an issue since, you know, I got onto council, that we couldn't find anybody, you know, right away. You had 2 people drop out. We haven't been able to have any. I think we've had 1 meeting since I've been on council. And it is frustrating. I mean, in my opinion, we do need a board, and I think we are headed in the right path. I think we filled 5 so far out of the 7, and
There's
2
more
pending.
applicants. Yeah, 2.
2 pending. You know, and that's the thing. It takes it away from us. Also, as a council, you know, they go to the Parks and Rec board and they bring everything up to us so that we're not just handling everything ourselves. So in my opinion, I mean, we need this Parks and Rec board. It needs to stay. Just my opinion.
Councilmember Martinez?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I agree. We need this board because, and they have so much work already in Parks and Recreation, so they cannot do everything. So we do, you know, we cannot resolve everything. We need the recommendations of the community so they can get involved and we feel part of this, and it's been there forever, so we need this board. We need to keep it.
Okay. Councilmember Ricketts?
Rich, thank you for bringing that. I think that speaks for itself. I'm definitely in favor of keeping it board.
Councilmember Stevens?
Fundamentally, I think boards are in fact good. In fact, I was disappointed a couple boards did go away. But no, Rich, you're the closest to it. Press on, in my view.
Yes, sir.
So my thoughts, so I mean, I do agree with what you're saying. Maybe we need to put, like, instead of them meeting every month, maybe they can meet every other month. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't know how this is working yet because like I said, we've had 1 meeting, you know, I mean,
You'll figure it
I
out.
will figure it out. I mean,
Yeah.
we gotta have one. I think hopefully we're gonna have one in November. See how that thing goes, you know. Our little meeting that we had, you know, was really short because everybody pretty much is new. And I think we need to give it a chance. You know, keep it the way it is and see what happens. And if for some reason, maybe, but I doubt that anything will happen, you know, then you need to schedule. But every other board meets once a month, you know, it's not hard to meet once a month, you know? So.
What do you think that we should not have in this board?
That, because I think that if people, like, I have gone out and asked for people and some of them have had. Said they wanted to serve and then they back off. I know I've had one that had personal illness happen, so. You know, there was no going there, but. So then I thought, okay, so then maybe it is a problem with them meeting every month. You know? And I was thinking, well, then every other month. And then they will all be able to meet and make that forum.
I think with those two people who they are waiting to sponsor for one of that consoles, everything will go back to normal. So to have meetings and he can know, you know, to respond to the board. Because it's been there for a long time, so we need their suggestions and their inputs on the parks.
And it's like everything else, you know, we get the right people in all these boards, things will work, it'll be fine.
I agree.
You know, and I think that's, I don't know, because I've never been on a Parks and Rec board, I don't know who was on it, I didn't, you know, and my honest opinion, I was trying to talk to people who had something, kids, something with parks, something with recreation, you know, those are the people we need to have here, that has something vested in all this thing, you know, and some of the people that I did ask, I was a little late because now they're on different other things here and there, and but you know, I mean, some of these people, I mean, I really do think with the ones we have now and hopefully coming, I think things will be good. I think we're gonna be moving in the right direction.
And right now, I think all of our boards are filled except for building and standards. And then the Parks Board still has the two, but we have two applicants waiting. Anything else? All right, let's move on to information and discussion. Item B, City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Item B is discussed ordinance 2025-11-01, a proposed ordinance amending chapter 23. City Council of the Alpine Code of Ordinances, amending Article 2, rules of procedure by amending agenda deadlines for city council meetings and by adding section 23-8D to authorize the mayor to sign certain letters of support that do not obligate city funds or commit city resources, relate to projects or initiatives that benefit the community or promote intergovernmental or community partnerships, and are subsequently placed on consent agenda for city council approval. So, as the council knows, we have been workshopping this ordinance for quite some time. Key provisions of the proposed ordinance, it adjusts deadline for submission to city council agenda items and backup documentation. It extends council members an additional 24 hours per agenda submission, aligning packet delivery with the new agenda posting timeline. Revises packet completion and posting requirements to ensure compliance with statutory notice and council directive. The new sections for the letters of support, we did discuss this as an information discussion item last time at the last meeting. And it does provide a few areas of clarification. One, confirming that motions to postpone may be offered as standalone subsidiary motions. And it provides flexibility for council to reopen votes prior to adjournment if a member wishes to change their vote, which recently happened. So it's kind of memorializing that in our procedures.
And so they can change their vote at any time during the meeting before the meeting is adjourned. If council
If
votes to
council
approve.
by majority vote approves the reopening of that vote.
Okay.
Y'all have any questions?
Councilmember Stevens.
I'm good with the number to vote. I presume it'll be on next agenda.
The first and second reading will be on the next meeting. Yes, thank you.
Councilmember Escobedo.
No, I'm good with that.
Councilmember Lucas. Councilmember Martinez.
I'm good.
Councilmember Portillo.
I'm good.
All right, good. Let's move on to information discussion item C, City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Item C is discussed ordinance 2025-11-02. A proposed ordinance amending chapter 16 board commissions and committees to the Alpine Code of Ordinances. Amending Article 4 through Article 9 to provide updates to board member terms and board member appointment processes for each city board commission and committee. Amending Article 2 Rules of Procedure by amending the agenda deadlines for ordinance. So on this one, this proposed ordinance would revise the missing deadlines for boards to 7 days prior to the meeting at 5 p.m. That aligns the deadlines with House Bill 1522 requirements, ensuring staff has sufficient time to compile and post agendas within the statutory notice period. The current ordinance deadline is 6 p.m. I'm sorry, 5 p.m., 6 days ahead of the meeting, which is when we need to post the agenda, so that's not really working for us anymore. It does make board appointment process updates just to reflect that board members serve for an indefinite term. I think it's hard enough to find a number, so having those term limits, we haven't really been utilizing those. It does clarify that only the council member whose place is vacant may appoint a replacement for that seat and provide consistency and transparency across all board sections by cleaning up appointment language. And then there is some slight amendments to board member terms and placement, just making a few clarification for procedures for removals, vacancies, and reappointments to ensure alignment with city council intent and continuity in board operations. Y'all have any questions on this proposed ordinance? You don't want to see any changes ahead of the first reading? Okay, thank you.
Regarding the vacancies, Gio, could you send council the 2 applicants for the Parks Board?
I did send those.
I know you did, but could you re-email it?
Re-email it?
Yes, thank you.
Man, I just had one of them's my spot. I'm waiting for feedback from Ward 5. Once I just get feedback, that's an easy one for me. So you don't need to send it to me.
Okay.
Okay.
And then the only other vacancy on that board is Ward 4. Did you see that email?
I did, and I'm also waiting on 2 of them to make up their mind what they're gonna do.
So y'all did receive it, so do I need to resend?
No,
Okay.
No,
oh, that's good. Thank you. Okay, and city manager, I received a text from Kara saying the meeting is muted. Is it still?
Oh. It was it a lot earlier? 'Cause
Yeah, it was
At the
at
very beginning, we had.
5:32.
Okay, yeah, it's fixed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, so moving on to, see, that was item C, to item D, city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Item D is discussion of short-term rental processes and implementation of ordinance 2025-06-03, including implications for permitting of individual units in the city's plan moving forward. So essentially, we have uncovered some, how do I say, hurdles that we need to kind of overcome and get some direction from the council. When the council passed ordinance 2025-06-03, we did include a definition for rental unit. And essentially what's happened is there, by implication of that, adding that definition, we're running into the requirement for each short-term rental to have each unit permitted, like right now. In the past, under the prior ordinance, we only required the whole property that was permitted. So we have operators who are not happy about that. It's understandably, you know, it's definitely going to be a change. And then we are also recommending, our finance department is recommending that each short-term rental remit hotel occupancy tax payments per each unit, and that's going to streamline the finances for us. But we have had a public comment that is not happy with that either. But I do have Victoria available here to speak to the benefits of receiving those per unit and how it's going to help us with audits and everything else. And as far as the implication of the ordinance, the definition that we added, I really just wanted to kind of let you all know, in my personal opinion, I don't really think that there's any room to, unless the council changes the ordinance, I think as written, we'll need to move forward with making the charge each renewal for each rentable unit.
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
Let's have Victoria come
Yeah.
up first.
Okay. Perfect.
Because I think we all received the email with the comment and, you know, her reasoning, right? Okay.
Good evening, Victoria Santos, Director of Finance. Please bear with my hoarse voice. I'm still recovering from my operation. We are working towards a lot of clearer accountability and reconciliation procedure within the finance department. I did go ahead and visit with Jill regarding a combined submission. And that would really not benefit the city of Alpine, because then we would have to try and determine out of those, for example, 3 units, which one is being applied to? Is it for 3 units? Is it for 2? Is it for 1? So there would be no clear guidance as to what it is that we are receiving the tax payment for. We can simplify the manner by preparing a document or a form to where they could individually identify each one with the payment, tying it in. So that's another option, but we really do need a separation per unit. And that way it would be easier for us to be able to reconcile and track the units that are in operation.
Okay, Councilmember Martinez?
My question, is if you said by units, is if I have a house in Ward 1, a house in Ward 2, and one house in Ward 3, so they will pay separate.
Yes, ma'am, because you have to identify which one you are actually paying for.
And what about those who they have already like 2 or 3 casitas or apartment together, that would apply the same?
Yes, I believe that's the example that we're.
That's the problem.
Yes.
So if they have a house and a casita and then both of them are short-term rentals,
And they
they're
would have to
gonna be
rent
separate.
In the same property, right?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
In the past, they used to pay 1, even they have 2 or 3 casitas together.
Well, I believe some of them were
Yes,
actually paid.
because we run into issues
Mhm.
when we would record it, because we did it manually for many years. When we would record it, like we would just get one check for multiple properties, so, you know, when we were manually recording that, we'd have 3 properties, let's say, for example, 3 units, and we
Mhm.
would have 1 payment, so it would be kind of linked on these other 2 bills. It just would streamline things to have it per unit, since they're actually being occupied by different, you know, how do you say? People that visit and things of that nature, for all intents and purposes, it's a separate business unit. Which to one operator's point, hotels aren't required to do that, but you know, hotels operate at an extremely large scale, so I mean.
And
We're just saying that it's gonna streamline things for us.
it will, and as a matter of fact, it'll also help with that management issue that we've received in the previous years regarding proper reconciliation of the payments. It will also help us track to make sure that they are current with the payments, because there are times when we would receive a quarterly payment that may have been due in March, but we would not receive payment till December. And so by the time that we receive the documentation, then it would be difficult for us to go back and say, how do we apply this? I do know there were a couple of times when our finance department did reach out and requested a separation, and we were not able to receive it because so much time has passed. And so this way we can at least provide proper, timely reconciliation and full accountability so that we would be able to easily track each one.
What happened with those who they don't pay? It is a fine?
Currently, there's nothing in place to where we would provide, where we would penalize them, if there would be any kind of fur.
We have the
Fine.
ability to charge penalty and interest, but historically we haven't done that.
Mhm.
You know, and there's other options in the law, like placing a lien on the property, things of that nature, but we obviously haven't done that either. We're just trying to get everybody on the same page, and we have been trying to do that for years. As you know, we recently switched from our short-term rental software, and we're in the process of manually doing the whole process again. And
Again.
I also have Alex here, who's really spearheading that initiative for us now.
Thank you,
So,
Alex. Yes.
if y'all have any questions for her, she's also on board with the per unit payment
Okay,
structure, and basically all of the staff does recommend it, but I just really wanted to put it out there because I know it's going to be a change, but I wanted to basically convey the benefits that we're going to receive, and you know, I think it'll be better.
Councilmember Escobedo?
I think that there should be a form that where they should be able to identify, you know, which unit it is that they're paying for on the check also, I mean, or however they're paying it.
So there is form, but then when they're going to pay, there is, and it shows individual unit that they're going to be paying for. Not as a whole property, but as a whole unit. If they have 2 units on a property, it shows the unit A or unit B, it shows each individual they have. It is a form for the hot payments.
Mhm.
That we do have in place. now that we're going back to manage, because like Lucio says, they're not, it's not gonna be by Rentals-Scape anymore, it's gonna be here again. Yes.
Councilmember Stevens?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. So I'm gonna ask Carter McDonald to come up in Ward 5, because
Okay.
he's got a unique property and I really want to get some understanding of what's going on. Unique property he's got, how many units you got there, Carter?
What, come to the
Yeah,
podium and, that's okay, state your name and your ward.
Yes, thank you. My name's Carter McDonald. I'm in Ward 5. I have a property that has 3 separate short-term rentals on the property, and I also live on the property as well. So very unique property, yes, sir.
Yeah, and so I'm trying to understand, so do you end up paying, is the proposal in the ordinance say you're gonna have to pay $350 for each unit?
Yes, sir. That is the new understanding, and that's one of my major concerns is I have kept my permits up. I have been fully operational the entire time I've owned the property. And now I'm having to get a new permit for each individual unit. One of them, from my understanding, is going to be carried over as the original, and it will be on a renewal status. But then the other 2 properties, the other 2 units, as by the new definition, all on the single property, all under the same roof. They have to have a new permit, from my understanding, as the definition requires. So it becomes very burdensome and also complicated. Beyond that, the other major issue that I have with it is there is nothing being grandfathered in. I had applied for my renewal for this year and had received all of my paperwork, had received my inspection, and everything was completed. And I am good on paper for all of my units through 2027 until this went into effect. And now I've got to start all over. There was nothing being grandfathered in. That was a conversation via email that Gio and I had, a very good conversation. Disagreed with some of it, and I told Gio I was concerned with it, and he very fortunately, I was happy that he brought this to y'all's attention, because it does, as a business owner and somebody that's actively involved in this community, bringing stuff back into this community, also working with different organizations as a business owner and contributing back into the community, it makes it a lot more burdensome. A lot of people think that because we're in tourism, we live in the Big Bend region, we're making hand over fist with money. I promise you we're not. I've taken a loss the last 2 years on this property. All right, it is not extremely beneficial or fruitful as far as money. Long term, yes, I do expect to, in 20 years, make some sort of profit. Being a newer business owner, I'm way in the red, guys. And this is really making it more difficult for us to get a startup and to make sure and cement and plant something right here in our community. So that's a lot of my concerns. Does that answer some of the?
Yeah, thanks, Carter. So I get the separate units, separate casita and all that, because they're different roofs, different structure, everything else. Here's the case, they're all on the same roof. And therein lies the struggle. So from an inspection standpoint, he's got to get 4 inspections of the same property, of the same things, and pay not $350. He's paying $1,400 for his 4 units. So that's the struggle I've got with it. And if we're about, how much money are we talking about?
So
how much do we bring in for hot funding in the city?
well, it's really gonna be taking impact after this year, but I believe it's 700,000.
How much?
Okay, 700,000 plus.
I haven't received the numbers for this.
No, how much hot funding do we bring in for B&Bs, Airbnbs? I
Oh,
know what it is for hotels.
Okay,
Yeah, hotels bring in most of the money, and I can tell you the 4 hotels. I'm talking about Airbnbs.
Right, I don't have that separated out, not right now, I'm working
we're
on it.
gonna get that information.
Is it 30,000?
I've just really mostly looked at the whole hotel occupancy.
Yeah, no, I'd say, and that's where my concern is. We're trying to help property owners who have a property. And I know we've had a lot of discussion. My concern is this puts folks like Carter in a really tough situation for his property. And I'd like to make sure we understand it before we head down the path too far. I get the accounting we're trying to work. I understand that, but there's gotta be a simpler solution than saying every unit you have. It'd be like if I rented out something in my house that says, I got 3 bedrooms, so I'm gonna rent them out, they're all different. It says I'm gonna get hotel occupancy tax charge for every one of them. I don't get it. Anyway, that's my.
That's the reason why I brought it up,
Thank you.
because the ordinance, it clearly states a unit means a separate accommodation room, bungalow, casita, trailer, or cabin located on or within a single premises, which was not in there before. And then under 90-124, it says each rentable unit must be permitted.
Yeah.
So
Can
whether
we
it
add
be-
something in about
Yeah, we
if
can
it's
definitely-
under the same roof, like in
we can
his
definitely amend
case,
it.
I mean,
It would have to be done by ordinance, so I can bring it forward, however the council wishes to amend it. I'd also like to note that tonight, the building services fees are on the agenda for approval, so we recommend it based on previous discussion. For the 350 to come down to 250 flat fee, and that includes the initial permit and the renewal. So just throwing that out there, that is gonna be considered later on.
well, it seems like separate permits for separate units, like Councilmember Stevens was saying, they have different roofs, different structures. That makes sense. But in his case, it's the same roof, so maybe we can add some kind of wording in there
Sure.
involving that.
Absolutely, that'd be fun. Do y'all want anything else changed in the ordinance? Are you thinking of anything else that needs to be amended, or that's pretty much it? I'll make that change and I can do it, an information discussion item at the next meeting.
Okay,
We can start there.
okay.
Council.
Councilmember Lucas, yeah, a few more, and Portillo.
Yeah, so, whomever this may concern, and forgive my ignorance. So you're saying that hotels aren't paying a separate bill per room, no, but just for that property? So like, I know the Holland, or I'm sorry, yeah, the Holland and the Maverick are owned by the same people. Do they pay hotel occupancy tax for each unit, or I'm sorry, each structure separately? Or they pay?
They pay for each room that's rented, it's just that they
Sure.
don't denote it separately.
Right, but I mean, or is the Maverick paying their own for their structure, and then the Holland is paying theirs, and same with Hampton and Holiday Inn Express, they're owned by the same people, or are they paying separately?
I believe so, right?
And I think this is, just because it's a new situation, I think I was visualizing 4 separate units, not all housed in one. So I definitely understand that. And so we do receive from the hotel just one payment, and it's not saying per unit such and such.
But it would be just for one building, right? It's not like the Maverick and the Holland are sending you one bill. Okay. Okay,
It is the other, I guess structures or Airbnbs where we do have this one, and it does have 3 separate
Sure.
structures where I definitely would like to have that
okay.
separated.
So with the hotel, that doesn't cause an issue for you?
It has not.
Okay, so now for somebody in his instance, would that cause an issue, or is it separate buildings itself that causes the issue?
I believe that as long as we do have something identifying this type of structure, that it falls under similarities with the hotel, we
Right.
should be okay with that one page.
Yeah.
It is when you have separate structures,
Mm-hmm.
because they do label them, like, for example, I'm just gonna say, city unit 1, city unit 2, city unit 3. So we do need to track that.
Okay. Okay, and then, Jessica, do you have anything to add? Because I know, I've
Come on up.
personally done, inspections on Mr. McDonald's, property, and it's a pretty easy one. You can literally walk from one room through a bathroom into the next room. It doesn't take very long at all.
Jessica Isley, building official, City of Alpine. I actually am the one that requested this discussion with Geo because we were speaking back and forth about the transition between Rentalscape and the new changes that were on the by unit, and then speaking with the finance department. So the City of Alpine has multiple departments dealing with short-term rentals. I'm the forefront of them. They come to me, they pay their permit, we set up an inspection. And so when I was told that somebody like himself, I would have to contact them and say, hey, you actually have 3 units and you're gonna have to go through a special use permit again, I thought that was unfair. And so I thought that there had to be a discussion before I started charging these people to say, hey, they've already done the special use, conditional use permit process for their property. And if there's any way that we could figure out with finance to put mock account numbers for their hot tax, but until he sells his building and it's reoccupied by somebody else, we would identify it differently then. But I felt really bad calling, because there's multiple people that have 4 casitas on one piece of property. They've already went through the special use conditional use permit. They paid the $350. They've been operating for years. We just put them through the rental scape thing. Now we're telling them this, and I'm like, I honestly don't want to make that many people mad. But I wanted to have that conversation with council, so you were clear on what we were trying to do, because we had a disagreement between charging them $350 again, making them go through the special use for the same property they had already done. And so for me, I think if somebody was to sell a property and they were to come back to my department with a new owner and say, I have 2 casitas, and I was like, okay, you're gonna have to have $350 for this one, $350 this one, you can make that decision then, if that's what you want to do with your property. But they've already done the whole process, and I feel like there has to be some sort of change for that.
So our $250 that we're looking at changing it to, but our current 350, is it still just to cover the city's cost in doing our legwork to get these permitted and everything, right? So it would be for your inspection fee. This is just my opinion. If it's all on the same premise, it should only be one, in my opinion, right?
The whole property?
The whole property, yeah, because it's. Sure,
hot tax is
it's
different.
really just
How
one
they do it.
inspection. It doesn't take very long. You're not traveling, and so that's where I'm trying to differentiate what the city's actual cost is on doing an inspection, and walking 20 feet to the next building on the same
Certainly
premise
do
isn't
that.
that bad. But it's just my opinion. And then obviously with somebody in
yeah,
his, it's even,
Yeah,
you're walking 5 feet through a bathroom into the next room.
his is more of a Jack and Jill thing, so you could essentially rent them separately, but a door opens it to 2. So you could have literally one huge one or 2, so the way that it's operating isn't necessarily like a little bungalow where you have a little casita in your backyard and you're just renting that. His is a little bit more unique, and there's other people that have little like unique like properties, but I just felt really uncomfortable calling people back and saying, hey, you have to go back through this process because you actually have 4 units instead of 2, but you've already went through this tedious process. And so I wanted to find out what you guys wanted me to do as far as the permitting and inspection side of things. The hot tax and finance things and having accounts is completely separate, so how that's organized is completely separate from me.
What
So-
is your opinion on doing it per premise?
I don't
Like
mind
we
at
used to
all,
do.
and
But
Jessica,
having it differentiated per unit as far as the taxes is
Yeah.
concerned.
There you go.
But as far as the permitting, it could be per premise.
so.
And
the
Chris,
reason-
Chris wanted to say
Oh,
something.
I'm sorry, Chris.
Chris Peruggia, Director of Tourism. You just arrived at essentially what I was gonna ask about, which was we had two different things that are devolving from this question of unit. And one is accounting and the other is permitting. And so it's a whole lot less of a burden to itemize a return than it is to pay money. So it seems like, yeah, exactly what you're saying is what I was gonna say.
We actually have 3 things we do. First thing for short-term rental, we council have to approve a special use permit. That's number 1. Number 2, Jessica's got to go inspect it. That's another process. 3 is the property owner's got to pay Victoria the hotel occupancy tax fees. And I think with Chris and what you just read, that's what we're trying to pull together.
Yeah.
Property is the property, you're done.
Yeah.
Occupancy tax fee delineate.
And Councilmember Portillo?
So again, like my ignorance, I mean, I see what y'all are saying, I see what's going on, but you got 3 units, you're charging for 3 units, so pay for each unit. I see it. I mean, you're making money. City's not making it, but I understand where everybody's coming from and I understand what y'all are all saying. So I mean, honestly, I'm good with it.
But my thing is, we're not making money off it.
Well, making nothing, but I mean, but
350.
still charging something,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I'm
So
saying?
that's where I'm at. It's like, we're not really making money for the 350 or the 250, whatever we end up charging for the inspection and the legwork for
Yeah.
the premise. Where we're making our money is the hotel occupancy.
Yeah,
tax.
so
That's
I,
where
and,
it's at.
and I do, I get that. So again, short-term rental people come in saying, well, we're not making any money. You're charging. I know how much it is because we've rented some Airbnbs for family and things like that. Somebody's making money,
Mhm.
I get it. But I just, My issue is just don't come in here and say that you're not making anything, because you are making something, and I get you're just starting and whatever, but. I mean, but again, I'm with y'all. I mean, I get it. So, you know, that's where I'm at. I'm with them.
May I?
Yes.
So the whole reason, again, that this came up was because Jessica asked, is it required per unit? I reviewed the ordinance, I said yes. I don't think it, how, as written, there's just no question, and that's why we wanted to bring it forward. We both agreed that was the best option to see if the council would like to change it.
Yeah.
As far as like the whole premises being, one permit, regardless of the number of units, that's how we've always operated, but it was just in June that this definition was added, which really
Sure.
changed.
Through wrench. in
So
the-
I don't think it's a problem whatsoever. That's how we had always done it, and that was like an administrative decision by a previous building director. So if the council wants to change it like that, we can definitely change it.
Is that a general consensus? Yeah, let's amend it.
We'll amend it to just be one premise.
Yeah,
Yes.
but
Just be
let's
one
make Victoria's life easier and keep all of the
Okay.
hotel occupancy tax separated, eh?
Okay, sounds good. We'll get that drafted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, good deal.
Good discussion.
All right, that moves us on to E, city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Item E is discussion regarding the current staffing, or status of staffing in the Public Works Department. And in one of the previous council meetings, the Public Works employees expressed concerns. I'd already provided, I talked to the director. I just wanted to bring this back as y'all had requested to kind of have a conversation and see exactly where we're at with staff.
Okay, and Eddie, why don't you come on up just in case we have any questions? And just once again, state your name and,
Molnar, the Director of Public Works.
okay, great. All right, Councilmember Escobedo.
I know that, your assistant told us that y'all were lacking, employees. And I do feel y'all do need them. I'm not sure if the Parks Department also needs, employees.
Yeah, we have 14 employees, including our mechanics, our street department and our parks. But I guess what she failed to mention the last time is our goal is to have at least 10 employees for the actual street department. Right now, we have 4, we just hired 1 today, so with that, it will be 6 with myself. So yeah, our goal is to definitely have at least 10 employees for the street department.
And Parks
From
Department.
the Parks Department.
Parks, yeah, I mean, right now they do have 5 employees, I think with an additional. Maybe 5 employees as well. They do maintain 6, 7 parks. So and it's a handful for them right now to try to maintain all the parks and the swimming pool as well.
Councilmember Martinez.
So how many employees you had it before?
We've always averaged like 8 to 10 employees with the street department. Unfortunately, one of the reasons was lower pay. Now that
They don't last.
yes, now that we raised it to 15, we actually gained like 3 employees right off the bat. So, but to answer your question, yeah, we usually have like.
So you always are short-handed.
Yes.
So why did we help you to get more employees? Because the last time she mentioned that it's already approved for 10. Right?
Come on up. Yeah. For you.
Maria Sanchez, Director of Finance. That was one of the things that we were looking at. So under Streets Department, the way I have it categorized, and I'm currently working on a staffing control to have everything more separated and identified. So when Adriana had mentioned 4, what I had in my records was 10. And so what they were referring to 4 means you're actually out in the street doing the work. And what we have with the Public Works streets would include like Eddie, Adriana, 5 street workers. So it had all the other positions. So that's where the difference was. Where I do have a budget amendment for future review, I went ahead and separated the positions that are under Public Works. Identifying administration, we had 3, even though Eddie counts himself as part of the streets. Recreation, we have the one coordinator. Currently under streets, we have 5, but 1 is vacant.
Yes.
And so that one is already an approved position that we can fill. In parks, we do have the 5. And then buildings and vehicle maintenance, we have 2.5. So when I was looking at what we have within the department, I was looking at the full picture. What they're looking at is the needs for actual street work. And with the budget amendment that we will be presenting, I did provide 2 options to increase it by 2 or by 3, and that would be by eliminating the position of the assistant director, which would cover a pretty good portion of the salary of 2 new employees, and then possibly add 1 more. And so that would get him closer to, because if we have 6,
Yes.
yeah, it'd be closer to
Yeah,
10.
definitely.
That would definitely help him.
And that's something that we recommended to Gio because our assistant retired, so that was one of the questions that we asked. With what we were paying him, can we go ahead and hire 2 extra employees? That would definitely improve our situation.
Councilmember Portillo?
I mean, yeah, I think what they're saying is, you know, you took one job, one position away, you fill it with 2 if you can. I mean, let's do it. And then I found out during the week, that you had a part-time guy working. And which I think is really cool, really neat. He was a college kid.
For the
For
water
the
department.
water department. I mean, that's something we could look into, you know, even part-time, say they're college students, they come in, well, I can't come in till after lunch. Well, I mean, that's another body for.
We actually hired seasonal workers for our paving season. Unfortunately, you know, that got taken away. But that was something that we were requesting as well. To be able to hire seasonal workers, especially for our paving season. And that would really help all out while we build in our extra.
Do you know why that was taken away?
City manager took it away. I actually, every year when we did our budget, I was asked her if we could at least hire 1 or 2. You know, so we could meet our goal, but you know, that never. And then the seasonal working, she just took it off.
How long ago was that? I'm sorry.
The last 2 years.
'Cause I remember when I was in high school, we'd go work for you, just mow yards or mow cities. Well, it's all summer.
Yeah, there was, throughout the years, there's been different programs.
Yeah.
As far as.
Yeah, I worked the JTPA program.
Yes, exactly.
When I was young. Once.
Councilmember Ruckus?
Is there any reason why we wouldn't be able to do something like that? Does anybody have an answer for that? Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Paving, that way they can focus on getting all these blocks that they need done and then not have to worry about mowing, because I know I have quite a few citizens in my ward that are bugging me at least, or I shouldn't say bugging me, but they're
They
asking
would like,
about when stuff's gonna get plowed.
And that's something we definitely can look into and present to the council for approval. When you mentioned JTPA, we can also reach out to the Rio Grande Council of Governments, because I know that they did have, it's no longer JTPA, if I'm not mistaken, but there is another workforce program out there that we can research it and see if we can bring some in through that, and if not, we'll come up with a plan
Yes,
and a figure that we can present to the council.
because actually now that we have our new asphalt zipper, we do need more employees. I mean, that's a game changer because, I mean, now we can not only refurbish streets, we can have another crew for seal coating streets. At this point in time, we can either do one or the other. We can't do both. And at the same time, like I mentioned the last time, what we do 14 blocks at a time. And then we kind of stop and take out work orders and whatever else needs to be done. With a bigger staff, you can do 3 projects at one time easily.
Yeah.
So. that'd be
Sounds
nice.
like we should count the cost and see what we can figure out.
Good. Councilmember Stevens?
Thanks, Mayor. So we have an action item 12B that we're gonna go through tonight that has 2 options on it, which talks directly to the point. One is option A, if I got it correctly, is to add another 13,000 to the budget, and option B or 2 is to add $59,000 to the budget. Which would you recommend? I'm just trying to get ahead of the game.
Well, yeah.
Well, 2 people or 3 people?
Sorry?
You want 2 people or 3 people?
No, I would have 3 all day.
There's no brainer there.
From a council perspective, in my mind, the cost is de minimis. We're talking 13 or 14,000 or 60,000. We got big issues to go fry in lots of other departments, but this is relatively small in the picture. So, okay, that's all I got. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, moving on to discussion item F, city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Discussion item F is discussion regarding the status of city reserve account fund balance and current financial status. And I do have Victoria Son, who's our finance director.
Welcome back.
Thank you. First of all, my apologies for not providing this in advance. I finalized it while I was actually up in El Paso during after my surgery, so I didn't have time to have it ready before then. This is actually just a discussion item. As you are aware, I am currently researching all the different areas regarding our reserves, our fund balance, working on closing our fiscal years. And so as I am able to close out, or I have information regarding either one of these, I'm gonna go ahead and start presenting them to the council so that you are aware of where we stand with certain items. Once again, these, I was able to go ahead and provide the information to you because it is not part of the end of year financial fund balance. So what I did was I identified reserves that we have invested in our investment account, because I know we've had several discussions regarding projects and what it requires to identify how these funds were committed is quite a bit of research. And so going as far back as 2016, 2017, going through audits, reaching out to our financial auditor, and then going through the ledger to see if any expenditures were actually allocated to the reserves. So what you have in front of you is reserves identified under Creek Trail reserves. Currently, what has been committed is 50,000 plus the interest towards the splash pad, and then 165,000 plus interest towards the purchase of generators. Initially, these funds came from the Trans-Pecos pipeline. They donated 400,000 to the city of Alpine. The funds were dispersed between those two items as well as the fire department assisted reserves. In 2021, they were recommitted from Creek Trail reserves to the splash pad and the generators. As far as the splash pad, I know that there has been discussion regarding transferring funds for the pool repairs. And so all it will require is for the city council to go ahead and adopt another ordinance or resolution, recommitting those funds for that use. So that's an option that you do have for that one. As far as the generators, we did conduct a little bit more research on that. Those were committed because a grant had been applied for. That was the FEMA grant for the hazard mitigation grant. That the application was submitted in 2021. As of today, I have not found that the grant was awarded. I did reach out to Isadora so that she may go ahead and research that as well. If the grant had been awarded, then we would have been committed to 25% matching funds. That's where the 165 comes from. So once we're able to determine where we stand with that grant, then I'll come back to you again to let you know if we need to go ahead and recommit, or if you feel like we need to go ahead and try and reapply for that grant. But that's where we stand with those. As far as the fire department assistant reserves, we initially started with 185,000. With interest, we went up to 219,301.30 as of September 30th. I did go ahead and deduct 10,000 because I did find an entry in the ledger that was identified as 10,000 towards the Alpine Emergency Services Board. And we also have a budget amendment further in this meeting for another 10,000 that will be coming from this. That will give us a balance of 199,301. And in looking at the resolution, it states that the funds will be allocated for equipment within our fire department. That took place when the fire department was part of the city of Alpine. So I would recommend that we go back and change the terminology because we are not actually allocating it to the equipment. It can be towards the annual contribution that we pay. It can be used for anything else that is. I know we've been discussing the fire hydrant project. It would also, that's just another method for us to be able to fund that project if we choose to. And so that is something that we would need some direction, or we may just say it'll pay the monthly or the annual contribution. Or if you wish to continue to leave it in reserves for future projects, but that is available. The others, I did list the reserves that are currently within our investment accounts. Those will require also extensive research, and once I'm able to complete it, I will present it to you. On your second page, been seeking clarification on the ARPA funds. And so in 2021, we did receive ARPA funds totaling $1.483 million. These were committed towards the wastewater treatment project. As of today, I have been able to identify $1,341,894 in expenditures that would be tied to the ARPA funds. And that would leave an available balance of $141,825. The expenditures have not been recorded within the ledger as ARPA. So I am making sure that they do fall within the grant guidelines, just to make sure that I am reclassifying them appropriately. And so I will be reaching out to Jacob and Martin also just to make sure that I have everything in order since they are federal funds, and we will have that in there. But currently we do have 141,825. And the project, I believe was slightly over 1.7 million that had been approved. And Councilman Stevens did mention that at that time, a little over 300,000 would be coming, would be paid with the general fund reserves. And so that is another area that I'll be looking at. City of Alpine, where do we stand with fund balance? So I did list all the reserve accounts that I am researching. And you will see that I do have in progress your hot reserves, your airport reserves, capital improvement reserves, water sewer infrastructure reserves, and your Pueblo Nuevo Park are all in progress. What I am looking at is I would like to make sure that I am able to identify any projects or expenditures that were initially allocated to be paid with the reserve funds, but were not identified. And so that would give me more of an accurate balance as to where we stand with each one. I want to make sure that we're able to identify each expenditure. Fund balance, as you'll recall, in 2022-2023 fiscal year end audit was completed June of 2025. So we just closed that fiscal year. I do have a fund balance as of 2022-2023. Unfortunately, I am unable to provide an accurate or current fund balance until I am able to reconcile and close the 2023 and 2024 fiscal year. And that is one that I have already begun working with our financial auditors as well. Then,
February, is it supposed to be here by February?
yes, ma'am, and that is my goal. I know that it it will be a difficult task because there is going to be so much research and reconciling that will need to be done, but it is my goal to have them both completed this year. We need to be current, because until we are current, we're looking at a loss in tax revenues because we're limited on the tax rate that we may adopt, as well as missing out on any fund grant opportunities. So
Well, I
that is my
certainly
goal.
appreciate you because you inherited quite a mess. These audits were already behind.
Mhm.
You know, so it's hard to know what our bottom line is because the audits haven't been completed.
Exactly, but we'll get there.
Okay.
We will definitely get there. I'm still going to look at, that is my goal. I will complete both of them within this year.
And
We
I have no
to.
doubt. You
Yeah,
can-
we have to.
Yeah. So when
Uh,
do you hope to have the 24-25 done?
Uh,
Like
20,
June, July?
the 2024-2025, no later than June 30th, because if I have been able to identify the ARPA expenditures correctly, we're going to be looking at a single audit on our federal grants. And so if we are identified as required for a single audit, then our audit needs to be completed by June 30. And so that's,
And for the new council members, can you explain what a single audit is?
yes, we have a certain threshold of federal funds that if we expend them within a certain year, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's 750,000, then we're looking at a thorough federal grant audit. So they're looking at our expenditures, our coding, our ledger, our procurement,
Everything.
just everything that we have in place. So that is something else. And that's why with the ARPA funds, I was looking at trying to identify them immediately so that I may begin reclassifying the expenditure account to reflect that they are federally funded grant expenditures. And so that I may have everything in place by the time we work on 24-25.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, no, that's okay. That's okay. And the financial status timeline, I pretty much just did a little timeline as to what we have been facing and when we started. And it's one of those, we just closed out 24-25. Excuse me, and open the new year. So we're working on that as well as trying to get us caught. Have any questions?
Councilmember Portillo,
I mean, thank you for everything.
Councilmember Martinez,
No question. Thank you. You
You're
have an
welcome.
amazing job.
Councilmember Lucas. Councilmember Escobedo.
None, I just would like to see whenever you're done, the itemization on the Pueblo Park project.
Yes, ma'am.
No rush.
No, and that is something that I definitely do want to provide because I believe in full transparency. And we really need to be able to have that document in front of us, showing us exactly how we've expended those funds. And if we have anything left over. So absolutely.
Thank you for taking on this challenge.
Absolutely.
Councilmember Stevens.
Victoria, keep plugging. I know your priority is the 2023-2024 audit. My sense is you've got high confidence you can get that done at the end of this year. And so be the 24-25 that might get delayed out into the January, February timeframe. So,
Yes, sir.
keep on plugging.
And when I do mention, if I may, this year, I'm looking at fiscal year, not calendar year. So, yeah. But we'll definitely get it.
Yep.
We'll get us to where we need to be,
But you're hopeful that we will have the 24-25 completed by June.
June of 2026.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. That is my goal.
That's your,
That is my goal, because by that time, we're also looking at a new budget and the adoption of a new tax rate, and I don't want us to be limited
Okay.
like we were this year.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Thank you.
And discussion item H, Should we break before or after?
Your choice either way.
Is it gonna be lengthy, you think?
It's gonna be, I'm gonna say the Rick and Victoria and Geo show.
Okay, so let's take a 5-minute break. It's been almost 2 hours since we began the city council meeting. All right, so we're 7:18. Coming back around 7:23.
Ready?
All right, where did Eva go?
There.
Okay. And we are back in session. All right, so discussion information item H, Councilmember Stevens.
Thanks, Mayor. And as I said, this will be the Geo Vicky Rick discussion, because we had a if I can use this term, a robust discussion. I'm sorry. We had a robust discussion beforehand, about 30 minutes, and I thought it was a very good, productive discussion. As was just pointed out, Vicky's got a lot of work she's out trying to figure out.
Yeah.
And trying to get through audits for that's. Trying to get through the audits for fiscal year 23, 24, now 24, 25. Our responsibility as a city council, one of our three major things we do is focus on budget. And one of the important things that we rely on in order to be able to do our budget is in fact to understand where we are. We just approved a budget that had a cost of revenue of $15.5 million, but an expenditure of $17 million. So essentially we allocated about $1.4 million out of fund balance. We don't know what our fund balance is. We projected, and I've talked about it being roughly, I think about 3.4, but we don't know. We're not going to know until Victoria goes and figures it out. So we're hamstrung as a city council without really knowing how much money we have. And we made a budget decision. And we're going to have a couple agenda items here, actually three of them, to take more money out of the fund balance without really knowing what that looks like. We had a water workshop 2 weeks ago and walk through, and there's a big need in the water department. And that's one of the budget items we're going to talk about, but we know there's more. We had a budget workshop this evening on the wastewater system, and we know there's a need for, it was, I'll say, as high as 10 or as low as 3 million over the next 5 years. And my experience is, for the first time on council that I've been on, this is the first time that neither one of those departments have brought in more revenue than they're spending. So they are actually spending more money than they're bringing revenue, which says they're running a deficit, which we cannot continue long term. So one of my concerns is, we as council need to think about, and we talked about at the last meeting, potential budget amendments. We got some budget amendments to talk about spending some more money. But one of the things I shared with Gio and Victoria, and I raised the issue during the budget discussion, we have $250,000 lined up in the wastewater budget that's part of the capital improvement plan. But we don't know what we're going to spend that money on. We allocated $300,000 and we gave Randy an additional $300,000 to go spend on putting automatic gas meters in Fort Davis, which I think all of us agree we need to go do that across the city, get gas meters in. But my worry is, where does it fall from a priority standpoint? Can we actually afford it? Because if we look at, I'm going to use the numbers right now. If our fund balance was $3.4 million. We spent 1.4 of that to balance the budget. We're down to $2 million. The proposals tonight on the table allocate $1.25 million. That says we have $750,000 left on our fund balance. That's it. Okay, and we're running a deficit in our utilities. And so my thought is, and I shared this with Gio. I said, Gio, if I was you, I would say you can't spend any money on the CIP for the wastewater treatment plant at this point. in theory, he could. Now, as Victoria and Gio pointed out, well, if it's more than $50,000, you gotta come back to us for approval. But if someone says, well, it's in the budget, oh, it's in the budget. And we didn't know we had a deficit there, we might go and allocate the money. I wonder, is spending $300,000 for automatic meters the right priority right now in Fort Davis? Even though we want to go do that, or are we gonna end up spending more money to fix the water system issues that we know that we have? So my reason for bringing it up is, in my opinion, we need to let Victoria go do her work. And she's not gonna have enough answers for us for fund balance until the December, realistically, January timeframe. And by the time you get through the last fiscal year, probably until the February timeframe. And I think there's some things we need to put on hold until she knows the answer. If we come out and says, hey, we got lots of money, you know, we closed in theory with the former city manager said we are a $1.7 million underrun. This last fiscal year, the fiscal year before. We ought to have the money. But my worry is we don't know. And I'm worried that the way in which we've allocated dollars and or from a budget standpoint, we're gonna find ourselves out of money and we have priorities we need to go work. So in my view, along the way, I really do think we want to let Victoria go do her thing. I think in the meantime, we ought to ask Randy to hold off on the automatic meters for Fort Davis. I think we ought to ask Gio to hold off on any CIP plans until we really understand the budget. And once we understand where we are from a fund balance, then we can say, let's go have that discussion. So that's the part I'm trying to put on the table. I'm worried that we're gonna run short on funds and we got some big expenditures to come out. And we know we got the clay valves, we got the Skyway Gardens, and that's gonna be $1.2 million. So those are my thoughts I want to put on the table. I know in some cases I'm a bit of a minority, but I don't want to put us in a position where we have to go borrow money, raise taxes, increase water, increase gas, and increase sewer fees, and that's where we're headed.
Victoria, will you come on up? Thank you. Thank you so much. So realistically, we really won't know the fund balance until after the audits are completed, correct?
Yes, Mayor, that is correct.
So that's June
Well,
at best hope.
I'm gonna disagree with that. Once she does her accounting, we'll know. Audits are for validating what's going on. Once she's done the accounting and it turns it over to the auditor, we're gonna know. She's gonna know from a fund balance standpoint. Auditors check and make sure she's doing her job.
Actually, the fact that we are so behind and on such a short timeline, we're pretty much working hand in hand. So she is waiting for me to turn in. So as soon as I receive information, then she is entering that data into her audit system as well.
So that's.
So the timeline will be really close. When I say June,
When.
when I mention June 30th, it'll be anywhere within the month of June.
So
That
we're not
we'll
gonna
know our-
know what our fund balance is till June?
That's exactly what I've been mentioning. And that is with my having a very, very high expectation and goal that I will be able to.
So-
Now, okay. So these audits have been behind,
Yes.
obviously, prior to you,
Mhm.
prior to interim city manager. So have we really known what the fund balance was all this time? Or are we just working with imaginary numbers?
It is difficult for me to state what has been presented and the reasoning behind it in the past prior to my arriving. I do know that throughout my research and working with our ledger and reconciling each year, the accounting system is not very clear. So it is difficult for me to say, just like Councilman Stephen has mentioned, that I just want that concise report. We don't have that. I prefer and I operate with an accounting system where I can track penny one revenue to expenditure without it having to take so much research through audits or ordinances or through ledgers, through file drawers, trying to figure out what is what. That is what I'm currently facing. Some of them are simple and I'm able to track it from beginning to end. Others do it takes a while. It took some time to just come up with information on the reserves that I just presented. I am not going to stand here and give you an estimate when I don't feel confident with what I'm working on. I like to be able to stand here and say, this is exactly where we're at. It will take a while to reach that point. Like I said, it is my goal to have them both completed, but we need to understand it will take a while because there's a lot that I do need to research, a lot of questions I have. As far as the budget that we adopted, I know that we are looking at transferring in funds to support the budget. But if you will recall that when we were discussing it, because of the fact that we had to start from ground zero to try and develop a budget within a month and a half, we did not have time for the departmental projects. We did not have time to research. And we felt that the best bet, because we were uncertain of so many line items within the budget, that we did roll them forward. And so it was made clear that all of these projects that are identified that we do not understand, that we would be discussing with our directors between October and December to determine if this is a project that has been approved. Is this a project that is required, urgent, and that we would be coming to the council with budget amendments. Example, we have a backhoe in there that has been a roll forward for several years. I guarantee you, and we mentioned it at the same time, Geo and I are not going to go and purchase a backhoe because, one, it's a roll forward. Two, we would request approval from the city council.
Anything over 50,000.
Anything over 50,000. If there is no urgent need, we definitely are not going to release those funds. We're not going to recommend it. They can ask us, is it in the budget? And we can say, yes, it's in the budget, but it is flagged for review. We are trying to get ourselves out of this situation, not dig ourselves deep.
So for my lack of understanding of procedure, I'm a director of a department. I receive my budget. If I want to spend 50,000 plus, I have to come and get approval.
Yes.
If it's for procurement, not for labor.
Okay.
Yes. And another thing that I really must state is that I have a really good relationship with all the directors. We are constantly discussing different situations. Where are you with your budget? What is your need? Even with staffing or whatever the case may be. So our communication is very open and very honest, so I know that our directors will understand that if I say, okay, guys, we're not certain about this, let's hold off. They will hold off. And you've seen that with even them questioning, do we have enough staff within our budget? So they're even checking their staffing counts before they go and interview. So that is how open and trusting we are with each other. We're all in a similar situation to where we have had certain needs over the years. And now we're looking at, we're going to work on this. We're going to get it done. And we're going to get it done together. So I can guarantee you that if we adopted a budget that has a certain amount of deficit, it was with the understanding that we were in a very difficult situation developing the budget. We had to adopt one in order to continue with our operations. But we also guaranteed that we will come back to the city council with budget amendments once we identify this is not needed. We don't have funding for this. Or if during my research, I find that we really don't have a fund balance, I guarantee you that we will be calling a meeting and I will stand before you and say, we need to stop. We're not at that point. Give us a chance to research it before You know, and if you'd like for the next meeting, I can go ahead and list the items that we did adopt. And so we can go ahead and look at it and discuss it at the next meeting, just to let you know that
That'd be
these
great.
are areas that we probably will not expend. Or we might need to reclassify it to an urgent need.
Right.
It
You're put in a
was-
difficult situation. We told you just to take last year's budget and roll with it.
Mhm.
Budget amendments, those have been a thing
Mhm.
that have been done for years. Okay,
So,
all right, Councilman.
so may I ask, so I'm trying to work, so do we know we have $1.4 million that we use to balance this budget for this year? Do we know we have those funds?
I believe I've actually provided that answer on numerous occasions that
So
at
it's a
this
yes or
point,
no?
no. And
Okay.
it will continue to be no until I'm
Thank
able
you.
to
No,
get it.
And I knew it was the answer, but I want, so
Right,
that's
yeah.
the challenge. We have a budget, $17 million. Victoria believes there's probably 1.4 million, but she does not know. And we're gonna have a
Won't know
budget
till June.
amendment discussion tonight. We talked about Skyway Gardens and the water budget, another $1.2 million. We don't know that we have that money. So this is why, you know, I apologize for keep bringing this up and up and again. Victoria's got to do her job.
Mm.
We have responsibility for managing, we set the budget for the city based upon data that comes in, and this is the struggle.
And we won't know the real answer till June.
That is correct.
Councilmember Rickus?
I don't know where to start. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to beat a dead horse. Because you've already stated CIP funds. That money is there for sure, and it's put into our budget. Just in case, because we don't know what we have in our wastewater as far as our current project that we're trying to wrap up. It was supposed to be wrapped up last month, but now we're looking at next month. Backhoe. It's just sitting there because it's been rolled over and rolled over. The 300,000 for Randy is something that has been set aside out of his own budget, out of his enterprise, right? What
Yes, sir.
are we not sure on that?
I believe last year we had 150,000, and
Right.
for this current budget, we increased it to 152.
And was that out of his own
Right.
enterprise?
Yes, and it's one of those things that I will say, I cannot stand here and say we have funds within the gas department until I'm able to look at their enterprise funds as well.
Okay.
It's a similar situation for everything
That's
other
sure,
than
that's fine.
some of these small reserves.
Okay. Because when we'd asked, you said
Mhm.
that it was, but I understand the situation. I'm not trying to
Mhm.
say say anything other than we think it's there,
Mhm.
but the reality of it, we can't say for 100% certainty that it is.
At this point, yes, sir,
Right.
because
So
I,
unfortunately, I would be with Rick and say, sorry, Randy, but let's wait until those funds are absolutely 100% accounted for before we move forward. And then, I mean, the rest, I'm just gonna wait until the discussion item for the rest, because we have a big pickle to solve.
and we really do, and in regards to the enterprise funds, the more that I studied the ledger and where we stood is where I became a bit, I wasn't as confident after reviewing everything, because there are several projects that should have been paid with certain funds that were not classified as such. And so that is my concern, that I have to determine what the intent was and if it meets the purpose, and I have to reclassify, which will affect any fund balances or additional reserves within your enterprise funds.
Yeah. So that I'll finish with this, and Mike, don't shoot me here. But this is just a question, since our utility department as a whole, wastewater and water, is in a deficit. Rick and I discussed this at our next meeting. And it's more work on you, unfortunately. However, I'm all for going through line item, so we're not using you as like blame her. I'm willing to go ahead and sit here and go through each line item of their budget and figure out where we need to make cuts with you, Mike, please, and Richard as well, to where we can at least get them to where we're breaking even with what our revenue, our projected revenue is, to try and solve some of this deficit for transferring money we don't know if we have or do or do not have revenue. And I'm for that being a workshop, if that's even feasible for you.
It definitely would be, because we really need to determine where we stand.
Do you think you could have something like that to sit down with us, if that's what you're wanting to do? Ready.
As a matter of fact, if we're looking at going through each line item, it's just a matter of printing out the report that we currently have. It's going to be the research to determine.
So our first meeting in
Yes.
November wouldn't be too hasty.
November.
Tuesday, November 4th.
We have an appointment. with my
That's fine.
surgeon.
If we have to move it, that's perfectly fine. But to me, sooner than later, preferable.
No, actually, my appointment is on the 6th. The 4th is good. The 4th
Okay.
will work.
So,
Do we want that as a workshop?
that's where I would stand. I don't know where y'all are with that. Just to try and get some dirt under our feet, so to speak, in this hole that we're in.
And I really do appreciate that. I really do, because we definitely need,
So
we need to
council
speed this
November
up.
4th workshop?
At 4 p.m.
Yes,
And it's just a workshop to review the 25-26 budget and determine necessary amendments.
right, particularly with the water
With
department,
utilities as a whole. I'm
So
sorry.
Just the utility?
not gas, not.
Gas wasn't in the deficit this year, no? If I remember
So
correctly.
so gas is in our deficit because we added 200,000.
Right, but that's the only
But
reason
we
why.
put that on pause.
Right, then
We
we're
don't need the
good.
gas right
Yeah,
now.
so that's where,
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
sorry, that's where I'm getting at.
Okay,
is
good.
If we put that on pause for now, unfortunately, they're
For
good.
the 4th.
You're out of the general
Yes.
fund, so.
I mean, I can just put 25-26 budget, and I did wanted to remind council that we also have the animal incinerator as well that we're. We need to figure out where the additional funding is, so maybe we should keep it more general, but if you'd like, I can narrow it.
Not just keep it general. that
Yeah,
way in
let's
case
keep it
things come
general.
up.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
I
Easier.
just think this is gonna take us
It probably will take.
the
a while.
entirety. And so if we have to do a second
Two,
two, I'd
One on the
be, I
18th.
also only speak for myself. I'd be fine with that. Whatever we need to do.
And there is a possibility that we may actually not be prepared for a budget amendment. Because I guarantee you, we're probably gonna identify line items that we're gonna have to research.
And that's fine, as long as we're
Starting-
moving
we've
forward
moved
with it,
forward.
we're
Yes.
trying
Okay.
to get
Yes,
things balanced out with our utilities, since it seems to be
And the 18th,
our problem
would
child.
council be good with another continuation of that workshop at 4 p.m. on the 18th?
As long as
November.
And
Good for you.
Victoria,
Our tour guide.
November,
is
December.
available.
yeah.
Mm,
Okay, Councilmember Portillo?
I understand everything you inherited and, and what y'all are having to go through, and I get it. I mean, we don't want you to sit here and guarantee anything, and I'm all about where, I mean, it takes time, take time. And again, like the mayor had said, how do you know what you were working with even before if everything is so backed up? We're so behind. And I mean, I think just now scratching the surface on a lot of things. That's, where I'm at with this. And, I mean, but as long as we can move forward, that's where I'm all at, because I mean, I truly understand what y'all got, what y'all inherited and what you got coming, and me personally, I'd rather you take your time and actually get this right so that we do press forward and have some type of system moving forward. So we're never in this situation again. You know, so, but thank you for everything.
And thank you for being so supportive. And one of the things that I did mention to Gio is that another side project that I have is that I am literally redoing the entire accounting system. Because I like to be able to trace everything. And so that should I retire or ever leave in the future, whoever takes my place will not be in a similar situation. They should be able to look at the ledger and say, this is where we're at. So I am revamping our entire accounting system. Because and I definitely know that we can do this. You know, we can get us where we need to be. You know, I wish we could do it in a month or two. But it looks like it's gonna be a year, but we can get it done.
Councilmember Martinez?
Thank you, Mayor. I understand that both point of views, your point of view and Council Stevens' point of view, his concerns and your concerns. But I think we need to focus on prioritizing. I think that labor is prioritized in each department is to hire the people. But if it's more money, then we need to hold on, because I know there are some items that we maybe want to spend the money, but there are other items that maybe spend more. So we will go day by day by day and waiting for you, not rushing you, not pushing you. But I think we need to prioritize, and I think employees is very important so they can do their job.
Agreed.
Okay, Councilmember Escobedo?
I think not knowing the fund balance is a big challenge. And as approving the budget and the way we did is, I feel very uneasy. Of course, of no fault of your own. I mean,
Yeah.
You know,
And rightfully so. You know, and I know that it's difficult, but it's something that we definitely are tracking, and we're gonna be very conscientious of anything that we do.
and I'm really surprised that the auditors didn't catch this before.
It's, we did have quite a few management issues, which is another project that I'm also gonna have to deal with on clearing up a lot of the management issues. And they are presented with the audit.
The auditors didn't have the audits to be able to catch anything.
So up until 2 years ago, we had clean audits, but they've not seen anything in the last 2 years.
Yeah. So we don't know what we don't know.
And one of the things that I would like to say is that I really do appreciate our audit firm. Because if it wasn't for them, I'd be spending a lot more time going back several years trying to figure out what's what. So they've been very helpful.
Thank you
Yeah,
to our audit
They
firm.
really have.
And who are they? Give them a plug. Who are our auditors?
Oh, Gibson, Ruddock and Patterson. Marlene is the head, and oh my gosh, she's amazing.
Thank you,
She
Marlene.
is amazing. Mhm.
Okay, any other comments, anything? I think we have a plan to have workshops.
I'd just like to say thanks for the discussion. It's a really hard discussion.
It
I
is.
want to thank Victoria and Gio for the discussion earlier. These are not easy things to work through, but we're all on the same page.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You've been our star tonight, up and down at the podium, back and forth. All right, we're moving on to action items. So action item A belongs to Councilmember Stevens.
So Mayor, in light of the discussion we just had, I'd like to postpone this action item until the next meeting.
Okay.
I say.
And I would make that motion.
Good. I need a second. Thank you. You knew what was coming. All right, any discussion? Let's vote.
Aye.
All right, City Secretary, Council has decided to postpone action item A, approve the first and final reading of ordinance 2025-10-01 until you said next meeting,
Next meeting.
until the next meeting. All right, so that went through unanimously. Moving on to action item B. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Item B is approve the first and final reading of ordinance 2025-10-02, amending the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget to appropriate funds for the street department to incorporate additional positions, providing for the following clauses, findings of fact, cumulative, proper notice of meeting and effective date.
Any emotion?
Mayor, I'll move we approve ordinance 2025-10-02, option 2. It's a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Discussion. All right, and let's vote. We're approving the first and final reading of ordinance 2025-10-02, option 2. Let's
Aye.
vote.
Aye.
Aye.
City Secretary Council voted unanimously to approve ordinance 2025-10-02, option 2. And do we need to dispose of the original since it didn't have? All right, moving. We got 3.
So that was the motion.
Yeah. All right, moving on to action item C, city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Item C is approve the first and final reading of ordinance 2025-10-03, amending the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget to appropriate additional funding for the Alpine Emergency Services Board to support the Alpine Volunteer Fire Department, providing for the following clauses: findings of facts, cumulative, proper notice of meeting, and effective date.
I need a motion.
I'll make the motion that we approve ordinance 2025-10-3 is presented.
I second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
That's right.
I like that. Everybody seconded it. Any discussion? Okay, all right, let's vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry.
Aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. All right, so City Secretary Council approved the first and final reading of ordinance 2025-10-03, amending the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget to appropriate additional funding for Alpine Emergency Services Board unanimously. All right, moving on to action item D, city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Item D is approved resolution 2025-10-14, a resolution amending appendix B, building services.
I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I need a second.
I'll second.
Discussion? Councilmember Stevens?
In light of the discussion we just had about short-term rentals, should we postpone this? Because it changes the fees and we want to understand that before we implement. That's the question.
I would say that it'd actually be best to approve it already. We can always amend it if you'd like, but currently, another implication of that ordinance is we removed the fees from the ordinance, so this would give us a legitimate fee to charge, because it was prior to that.
So how will you handle it, given the discussion of short-term rentals?
I will go ahead and now that I know that that's the direction we're gonna go and we're in the process of drafting an ordinance, I will just charge the $250 and then it would be per premise. I wouldn't charge it per unit, because I know that's what the council wants to do. I just wanted to give, gain agreement before I move forward with anything like that.
Okay, and given it's now documented in the minutes,
Mhm.
fortunately, okay, I'm good,
And
thanks.
on the video. Okay, so let's vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, City Secretary Council voted unanimously to approve resolution 2025-10-14, a resolution amending appendix B, building services fees unanimously. All right, moving on to action item E, city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Item E is approved resolution 2025-10-15, a resolution approving the extension of hotel occupancy tax grant funding to the Museum of the Big Bend for wayfinding signage into the 2025-2026 fiscal year.
Any motion?
Mayor, I move that we approve the resolution for extension of hotel occupancy tax funding grant to Museum of Big Bend for wayfinding signage.
I need a second.
Second.
Okay, discussion. Any discussion?
Can you come up and explain what this is all about?
Happy to.
Thank you, Chris.
Chris Rucci, your Director of Tourism. So ordinarily, I would not recommend carrying a grant from one fiscal year to the next. Almost all of the grants that we do are event-based, and so they are within that fiscal year. This is an unusual one for 2 reasons. The application was put in by the previous museum director, and since the time that it was approved, the museum staff turned over almost completely. And so the current director came to work this grant very late in the fiscal year. And so he then put in place some conversations with the city manager and myself and TxDOT about what are the policies for wayfinding signage and things like that. So since with that mitigating circumstance and the fact that this is not an event, but something that will have long-term value, I'm very comfortable recommending that that money that was allocated but unspent, which now sits in the fund balance, I'm very comfortable recommending that you carry it forward to this fiscal year so we can work that project. As a side thing, there also is the opportunity to include other potential wayfinding needs in the city for other visitor attractions and assets and things like that. And we had done some previous work on that with 3 or 4 city managers ago, and so I'll be providing that to Geo and we can look that when we're ready.
Okay, great, thank you. Any questions for Chris? Questions for Chris? Any other discussion? Okay, thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Let's vote.
Aye.
Okay, City Secretary Council voted unanimously to approve resolution 2025-10-15, a resolution approving the extension of hotel occupancy tax grant funding to the Museum of the Big Bend. Thanks. Moving on to action item F, City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Item F is approve a facility use agreement between the city of Alpine and the Alpine Emergency Services Board for the use of a regional firefighting training facility on city property pursuant to resolution 2025-09-01.
Excellent. I need a motion.
I move we approve the facility use agreement between the city and the Alpine Emergency Services for the use of the regional firefighting training facility on city property.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
We all think.
All right, discussion. I know we've talked about this quite a bit. It was originally brought forth by Councilmember Ruckus for the firehouse, and Councilmember Stevens brought it to us as well. Is there any other discussion before voting?
No.
Okay, let's vote.
Aye.
You want to talk? I did.
Oh.
Okay, come on.
That's okay.
First off, thanks for the house. Second off, in accordance with being transparent with the contract that we signed with this. According to the contract, it says if we're gonna do any improvements over $5,000, we need to let you know. So we did do an amendment. I don't know if Rusty sent you the amendment. Did not send you the amendment.
He told me it was approved as presented.
Okay, well, we did an amendment just showing that the improvements. I can shoot that over to you.
Well, you would just let them know now would be a little better, just so they can approve it with that. amendment.
Okay.
If you have.
I have the amendment here.
Okay, perfect.
Basically the amendment saying that the improvements are gonna cost approximately $20,000 and it's got a list of what we're doing. New roof, new doors, new windows, concrete patch, perimeter fence. Not everything's getting done at once, but we're just rolling it all into once for phase 1 upgrades, letting you know that's gonna cost more than $5,000, of course, to make these improvements.
So Mayor, I'd like to propose an amendment to what James just went through.
I say, go whatever you say.
Okay, so for clarification, I think we need to,
Further.
yeah, we need to.
Can I have that copy?
Yeah, there we go.
So how should we word the amendment?
So we amend the motion to include the list of all the items that the AESB is gonna spend the money on as delineated in the attachment.
And I think.
Okay.
Okay, okay, all right, and
Here.
second, all right, any discussion? Okay, let's vote on the amendment.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
City Secretary Council voted unanimously to approve the amendment for the facility use agreement between the city and the Alpine Emergency Services Board for the use of a regional firefighting training facility. Details on the amendments can be found in the minutes and on the YouTube video. And now we need to dispose of the original motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and the original motion has been disposed of and stands as amended. Okay, moving on to action item G, City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Item G is approve a municipal advisory agreement between the city of Alpine and Government Capital for services as the city's municipal advisor.
I need a motion.
Mayor, I move that we approve the municipal advisory agreement between the city of Alpine and the government capital for services of the city municipal advisory.
I need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion. City manager, you want to,
Thank you. So, we did have a presentation at the last city council meeting regarding this agreement, and Government Capital is excited to come on board and assist the city with our endeavors. Isa Loda, our grant writer, is already working with them, just, brainstorming ideas for this, various projects we have. So, we do recommend approval.
okay, any discussion? Let's vote.
Fine.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, City Secretary Council voted unanimously to approve a municipal advisory agreement between the city of Alpine and the government capital for services as the city's municipal advisor. Okay,
Thank you, Wade.
Oh, Drew is online and I did not notice.
oh, okay, we've already approved it, Drew. Thank you. It's done.
Sorry, y'all, I'm in Fredericksburg.
Yeah, it's okay.
And-
Have fun.
I'm at a conference and I had to run outside real quick and I was thankfully for closed caption. So I
Oh,
ran
okay.
outside really quick, so I apologize for not being on right away.
No worries. We've already approved it. You're good to go.
Thank you so much. Praise God.
Thank
Praise.
you.
Talk
Thank
to y'all
you.
later.
Okay, thank you so
All
much.
right, bye-bye.
Okay, moving on to action item H, city manager.
Item H is approve a lease agreement between U.S. Customs and Border Protection and the city of Alpine for an aviation hangar at the Alpine Casparis Municipal Airport.
Okay, I need a motion.
Mayor, I move that we approve the longest taking lease to negotiate between the
Uh-huh.
Customs and Border Protection and the city of Alpine for an aviation hangar at the Alpine Disparis Municipal Airport.
I said.
And the longest, the longest contract.
that.
Okay, discussion. Let's vote.
Aye.
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 City Secretary Council approved the lease agreement between U.S. Customs and Border Protection and the city of Alpine for aviation hangar at the Alpine Disparis Municipal Airport, and it did take the longest, and it is the longest contract. Yes, so there we go. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that humor. Yeah, thank you. All right, so executive reports, city secretary, 6 minutes on the clock. All right, so my goodness, where to start? Okay, 6 minutes on the clock. Okay, so Councilmember Stevens is our representative with the county commissioners. And he went to a meeting this week, and some things that we have all been talking with the county regarding partnerships have taken some discussion. The county is cleaning up the burn house, and they're gonna ask the city to match funds of $8,000, just so that that's in your mind. Okay, and also, we are going to have a joint council commissioners meeting to discuss our emergency medical services situation with our ground ambulances, because the contract with Emergent ends in May and they are not going to renew. So Greg and I have talked about that. It's going to be sometime in November, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to request that we meet there again because they have a good setup for us to meet. So that's coming up, and they talked about it at the commissioners meeting that Councilmember Stevens was at. And then also this animal incinerator, we've been talking about it since Judy Stokes was on the council, so it's been a long time. Anyway, the judge has taken the initiative to form an interlocal agreement and finalize with us, and then he's going to take it to the commissioner's court so that we can see where we stand on that. The last I heard, it's probably going to be a matching. So we contribute what they contribute. Okay, so that's coming up too. All right, so that was item number 2. Okay, item number 3 comes from the newspaper. They have reached out and they said they have a great way for you to reach out to your constituents. A lot of us don't like to get on social media and Facebook and post things. One time a month, everybody is welcome to submit a no more than 400 word, no more than 400 words, that's not a lot, article to the Avalanche. And you can describe what council's doing, what your thoughts are, or where you want to go. Councilmember Portillo, for example, you can mention that you had brought forth the golf cart ordinance, which, when is that coming up?
Chief is working on it.
Okay, all right, so things like that. So every council member, they're opening this up. one time a month, no more than 400 words. It doesn't have to be exactly what we're doing on council. If you just want to talk about something else, that's fine. But I mean, that's a great way to get the word out to your constituents so they know what your thoughts are, how you're voting, and what council is doing. Okay? One time a month. All right, so as far as how to administer that, I guess you can send it to Alex or Gio, and then he'll provide it to Kara, and then Kara will put it in one of the papers, one of the weekly papers. Okay. All right, so that was item number 3. Item number 4, where did you go? Okay. All right, so applications for Parks Board, there are 2 that are outstanding. That if they're filled, then we'll have a full board. The other board that has 2 spots open is Building and Standards. They don't meet regularly, only when called. All the other boards are completely filled, so good job. Number 5, all right, that was the boards, okay. Number 6. Okay, so we made an offer to Mr. Edgar Garcia for the city manager position. A couple weeks ago, contract was completed, sent, and he reached out to the city administration and city council yesterday in an email, and unfortunately, he's had to withdraw his application for consideration. He said that due to circumstances beyond his control and beyond our control, he's had to pivot, is the word he used, his job search. Okay, Councilmember Stevens reached out to him to see if we could get more details, but the phone call has not been returned as of today. Okay. All right, and so that concludes my executive report. Moving on to city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. On tonight's report, I have a small bit of each section. I know employee compensation, the city is continuing progress on finalizing and improving job description. All departments have been completed with the exception of gas, municipal court, finance, HR, and tourism. So we will continue bringing those remaining job descriptions forward until the project is fully complete. On streets, Public Works advised me that 3 blocks remain to be paved for this season, and work in Country Club Estates is anticipated to begin within the next 2 weeks or so, hopefully. And then in the Parks Department, they are continuing work on the installation of a new scoreboard. As far as the pool, we are awaiting a response from the vendor recommended by Leak Detection Pro, and we're basically, based on that, we're going to develop a plan to address the leakage of the city pool. According to the Public Works Director, the study identified numerous links, 25 to 28, if I remember correctly, within the pool walls. In addition, we are preparing to order a new pump for the facility to support ongoing operations. As far as water and wastewater are concerned, the utilities department has responded to 8 leaks so far this month, and the team has been working diligently to address each issue. Inventory is being ordered in preparation of larger projects, including McBride Lane, Gardner Well, and Canyon Drive. These areas will require full line replacements, as temporary patches are not going to be sufficient. We appreciate the community's patience as we work to complete these repairs. And as far as the wastewater treatment plant, we are still waiting construction on the Claire Fire Project, as we all heard earlier this evening. All necessary materials are there on hand, but we're pending completion. In addition, the department has cleaned and prepared the old firehouse and is planning to install showers for utilities technician. It's an important health and safety measure, providing staff with the ability to clean up after spills before leaving home. And of course, most recently, the utilities team uncovered a leak in Country Club Estates yesterday morning. Staff worked throughout the day, completed repairs around 6 p.m. and shortly afterward, another leak was discovered, requiring much of the team to remain on site until around 5 a.m. this morning. So we are extremely grateful for their dedication and direct service to the Country Club Estates. Building services, the Skyway Gardens project is progressing as planned. The building official remains in regular contact with the project manager, and I've also been in direct communication with him to ensure the project continues to be treated as a priority moving forward. The department is actively issuing highways notifications still to encourage compliance and mitigate fire risk, particularly given the dry weather conditions we've been experiencing. In addition, we've been coordinating with Union Pacific regarding high weeds along their property, and the company has confirmed that Alpine is on their schedule, and they've assured us the matter will be resolved in the near future. Our goal is to have them abate those areas ahead of our work.
Mhm.
Gas department has advised me that we are almost done with the distribution integrity management program, otherwise known as DIMP projects for the year. We're lacking 6 more projects to meet our goal. We do have the new utility billing software. The system is fully launched. We've received one of the card readers and are in the process of setting it up. Online payments are being successfully accepted. Earlier today, the system experienced a brief crash due to high volume of users. However, it was promptly restored. After lunch, it was operating normally.
That's a good thing.
Yes, overall, the transition has been proceeding smoothly. We've been providing customers with clear instructions on how to access and log into the system. And in the background, staff are conducting a thorough audit to ensure the integrity of the data throughout the transition, and all findings do indicate we're in good working order. As part of this transition, utility disconnects will not be conducted this month. And lastly, for the police, chief did advise me that Red Ribbon Week will take place October 23rd, 31st. During this time, the police department will deliver drug-free awareness presentations at the public schools. The department is also organizing Halloween festivals at both the visitor center and the elementary school. And this past Saturday, the No Kings March was successfully held with APD receiving numerous compliments for their support of the event. This evening, the department participated at this point in the Zuzu Verk Memorial Partnership with the Family Crisis Center of the Big Bend. This memorial is held annually in conjunction with the date Zuzu was first reported missing, which was October 14th, 2016, 9 years ago. Looking ahead, APD will also provide support for the homecoming bonfire and parade scheduled for tomorrow. And that's everything I have tonight.
Okay, good. So disconnect notices not for October or not for November?
We are not processing disconnects for the month of October.
And then instructions for people on how to get online. Are they on the city website? Where do they find that?
So they can give us a call, they can come in person, and we have pamphlets, and we have a web page on the front page of the city website. Let's take a look. Yeah, new utility billing portal coming soon. And it just has the video from the workshop that was highly attended.
Hey, I was here.
Some steps about
Yeah,
Got a cameo.
okay. Good. Any questions? Any questions?
No, thank you, Gio. You are doing an amazing job, and I'm so happy that Alex is coming joining us today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you do a good teamwork.
Uh-huh. Any questions?
Gia, you want to share with me?
I haven't
Yes.
told anybody yet,
Uh-oh.
but you would, okay.
Come on up, chief.
Chief Lasoya is resigning effective January 2026, and he could speak a little bit more to that.
You can make me kind of.
It's okay.
So I've been offered a position, a full-time position for Texas Municipal Police Association. And I'll be starting for them January 5th. I'll have my last day January 2nd. I've been here since December 5th, 1994. I was 23 years old. And so I'm 54 now, and it's been a great ride. I love this department. I love the city. And so the wonderful thing about this new position is I get to stay in Alpine.
Yay.
And so
We can still call you.
what's that?
No.
And so but there's and I'm excited for this new career. I joined the military when I was 17. It's been part of my duty to serve others, and I'll continue doing it, serving my police officers. And so I will be the first West Texas field rep, full-time field rep. My area will run from the Panhandle all the way to El Paso and all the way down. So I'll be putting a lot of miles on. But I'm excited for the new adventure.
They are very lucky. They are very. They are very lucky to have you. Yes, congratulations.
So I'll be retiring in inside.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for giving us this much notice, and thank you for all you've done.
So
And then just please reach out to Gio on your recommendation for.
I've already reached out to him about that.
Oh,
yes.
I think it'll be good for the city.
And don't call you. So we.
No, I will be here. I will be, I told already, I'll be the best volunteer
There you go.
for the city of Alpine.
Good deal. Do you want to sit on a board?
Sit on the council.
Yes, you good, great counsel. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Are you Ward 2 or 4?
Sorry.
Are you on Ward 2 or 4?
4.
I want you to take the position so you can.
For some way, it comes around,
It does, it's weird.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Chief.
Well, thank you. Thank you for all you've done for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be sorely missed. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, moving on. Oh, I didn't finish. Anybody else had any comments? Questions for
I'm just
Gio?
glad that the railroad commission is gonna clean up the, whatever that is.
Hopefully before art walk.
People keep coming up and I'm just like,
Councilmember Stevens?
Related from a city standpoint, although Gio did not talk directly about it, but since we talked about railroads, one of the things you're gonna see within the next 2 months is the railroad is actually gonna raise the distance on the 13.7 bridge to 14.6.
Good, the railroad's doing it. That's a win.
So they're finishing the
Wow.
area over on they're putting the trellis or whatever over there, then they're gonna move over there. So the good news is, it's gonna be 14.6. The TxDOT is still gonna put the warning sign in, so
Good.
that's good. But it's gonna slow traffic down going underneath that bridge for a while, so. I'm sure they'll get the word out, through the radio and the newspaper, but that, in my mind, is a win-win all the way.
That's a huge win to get
It's
the
huge.
railroad to do that.
Yep.
Perfect. Who got them to do that?
Well, we've been working.
Good deal.
It is just,
Finally hit the number of semis.
Yeah.
The move or what?
Yeah.
So now that we don't have city manager, are we talking that in closed sessions or what are we
Yes,
doing?
yes, closed session. All right, so council member comments, Councilmember Stevens,
I've said all I need to say, thanks.
Councilmember Escobedo?
No.
Councilmember Ricketts? Councilmember Martinez?
Thank you for staying this late, but
Yeah.
I was happy that several directors were here in the meeting.
Yeah.
you.
it's not- Councilmember Portillo?
Thank y'all. Chief, again.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
it,
you,
man.
thank you. Okay, so this brings us to item number 15, executive session pursuant to chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. The city council reserves the right to convene into executive session from time to time as deemed necessary during this meeting for any posted agenda item or to receive advice from an attorney as permitted by law. Tonight, the city council will recess into executive session pursuant to section 551.071 and 551.074, which is personnel matters and can consult with an attorney. I need a motion, please.
Move into executive session.
one second.
Discussion. Let's vote.
Aye.
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 City Secretary Council voted unanimously to move into executive session at 8:22 PM. You don't think we're gonna go past 9? Good night.
Appreciate you.
No.
I need a motion to move out of executive session.
Mayor, make the motion that we move out of the executive session with no action.
I need a second.
Second.
Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
Let's vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. City manager, council unanimously voted to move out of executive session with no action at 8:59 PM. And with that, this meeting is adjourned.